Welcome to Tucker and Riyadh, the Wheel of Time showcast. I am your host, Joe Perry, here with my co-host, Jen Isgro, Tom Kokoza, and very special guest co-host, Brendan Johnston. Jen, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm a little bit sad because it's second to last episode. It's the penultimate episode of season 2, but a lot happened. So I think I'm excited to dive into some of these things that happened.
Tom, are you ready to dive?
Oh, I'm ready, Joe.
Okay,
Yeah,
Brendan.
that's all I got.
How you doing?
I'm good, Joe. I'm very curious to see how this episode goes because I know what I thought of the episode, but I have not gotten a read on what anybody else thinks. But I know that you think a lot.
Yeah, I was about to say you have some read because you know that you kept marking the channel that we talk in Discord about it red, and it kept coming back to like new messages. So clearly, a lot of people.
As I said,
a lot of people.
Yes, I know.
It wasn't even us most.
I know you guys have thoughts. Capital T thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely thoughts on this episode. So before we get into the episode, right, I want to remind everyone, first half or first part of the podcast is book spoiler free, or spoiler light. There's, we might spoil some stuff from like the first book, stuff that had already passed. And then when Brendan leaves, we will go into some spoiler conversation. So for now, you can relax, sit back, enjoy the absurdity that's about to ensue, because I feel like this was that kind of episode. Mm-hmm. So Jen, do you want to give us a recap of this wonderful one?
I do. I tried to keep this concise as best as possible, but it may be half a minute longer or so than the regular one. So buckle in.
Well, I think
okay.
I think last week's might have been the longest one yet. So.
Oh no. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see what happens. I tried to cut words here.
Just speak faster.
No, but simple. Then you have. All right.
Just give us the theatrical release of Dune version of the.
Okay. I'm leaving this production. Okay.
Take her
Episode 7, dae'mar, written by Justine Jewell Gilmer, directed by Sana Hamri. 20 years ago in the White Tower, the Aiel War has just ended. Moiraine and Siuan, dressed in blue, happily discuss their future together, which they both hope will be spent outside of the tower. The women go to see Gitara Sadai, a blind, older woman, to tell her that the Aiel are retreating and the war is over. Gitara suddenly has a foretelling that the dragon has been reborn and charges Moiraine and Siuan to keep the secret and prepare the world for his coming. She then immediately passes away. So much for that future together they had planned. In the present, in Cairhien, Lyanna brings Moiraine to see Siuan. Siuan wonders why Moiraine never mentioned in her letters that she had been stilled. She tells her that Alanna also knows about the dragon reborn. But Moiraine doesn't have to carry this burden alone anymore. Siuan wants to help her, and the first step is meeting Rand. In the hallway, Lan prepares Rand for the meeting. He tells Rand that Siuan is a good woman and smart. Lan sees that Rand has learned some sword forms and suggests Cat crosses the courtyard for this meeting. It will keep him looking relaxed. Lan gives Rand his 4th jacket change of the season and sends him in. Rand stands before the Amyrlin and says the words Lan taught him. Siuan tells Rand it is wise to be guarded in this world, but she wants the truth from him today. Mat wanders the foregate, looking depressed, and is knocked out from behind by a hooded stranger. He awakens on the floor of a strange bedroom, with Lanfear standing over him wearing a fashionable pantsuit that I want immediately. Mat goes outside on the balcony and looks out over Falme. Down below, Nynaeve and Elayne are in the marketplace. Elayne is tired of listening to Nynaeve. She is the captain now. They are off to look for Loial. In the desert outside Falme, some Soldam are showing off their Damani's powers. Egwene and Rhenna are there, as well as Maigan. Rhenna threatens Egwene with violence if she embarrasses her. In the palace courtyard, Yasaka slips Verin an Ogier map of Cairhien. Across the way, Alanna and her warders discuss how they don't trust Verin and Tomas and wonder what they're up to. Speaking of people they don't trust, where's Liandrin? Well, Liandrin is interrupting a meal in the Damodred house. As Anver says how honored she is to have her, Liandrin looks at an old portrait of Moiraine and smiles evilly. I would definitely invite her to stay. Moiraine berates Lan about spilling all their secrets. He asks her if she thought about killing herself these past few months, and she says no, because she knew how important it was for her to guide Rand. She wants to know what Swan's plan is, but Lan says she has to trust someone at some point. Rand tells Swan he hasn't channeled very much, but she says he will, he can't help it. She tells him Tower law states that she must shield Rand and use him as a weapon in the last battle, under the control of the Aes Sedai. He seizes the source, but Swan shields him in 2 seconds flat. I guess that Logain lesson didn't help. In the desert, a Damane creates a dust cloud that almost reaches the rest of the group. When Egwene steps up for her turn, she creates an explosion of air that knocks them all off their feet and can be heard and felt in the city. Nynaeve who, bitch? Elayne and Nynaeve find Loyal and chat with him in a hidden corner of the marketplace. He recognizes and genuflects to Elayne, and it's the greatest moment of my life. Loyal tells them Egwene is in the kennels, but only a Soldam can get in there. Nynaeve swears that they will free him too. Ishamael makes Mat some hallucinogenic tea from the Age of Legends. He tells him to drink it in 15 minutes, and it will show him his past lives and the truth about himself. Perrin, Avienda, and Hopper approach from the desert. Perrin notices a woman in the sand, and 2 more Aiel maidens appear, Bane and Shiad. They take them to a gravesite of their friend, Jolene, who died of an infection and a wound. The maidens use hand talk as Avienda prepares herself, and then the other 2 start wailing on her with their fists and feet. Hopper and Perrin both object to this, but they can't stop it. Of course, Mat drinks the tea, and it's hard to recap someone's trip, but I'll try. He sees his mother still calling him a prick. In a mirror, he sees a reflection of himself hanging by the neck, dead. He sees a man drowning someone in a bucket, another man stabbing a woman. Both those aggressors eventually become Mat. The scene ends with Mat cradling himself on the ground. The cradler laughs maniacally while the cradlee screams. Rand is still
Not too bad. Just want to say.
Rand is still crouched on the ground, shielded, as Moiraine and Lan enter the room. Swan refuses to release his shield. Moiraine says Swan's enemies in the tower will gentle Rand. Swan's job was to prepare the tower for Rand, but Moraine's job was to guide him, not to get stilled, so no one really succeeded here, did they? Swan's in charge, so tomorrow, before the Queen, they will announce Rand as Dragon Reborn. In a cell, Moiraine explains shielding to Rand, while Leane sits in a corner holding his shield. Rand says he was on his way to Falme to rescue Egwene from Ishamael. Falme is where the dragon is prophesied to proclaim himself. Rand figures the Forsaken probably wouldn't want him to be a prisoner here. In House Damodred, Barthanes dismisses his mother to speak to Liandrin alone. This sweet boy suddenly has a backbone, and wouldn't you know it, he's a dark friend. Hope Moiraine didn't eat those sandwiches. Liandrin has an order for Barthanes to get rid of Moiraine and tells him she's in a cell in the palace. If Anver finds out, he should kill her too. But of course, Anver has a secret listening hole and has heard the whole thing.
Listening hole.
Secret listening hole.
What would you call it?
I don't know.
I mean, I got
That's what it says on the box.
What was made. It works.
A vent?
It was a hole for
Shut up,
listening. Let's move on. Ishamael awakens Mat by caressing his face, and I swear he has sexual tension with every character on this show. Ishamael gives Mat his whole break the wheel speech, and it didn't work when Dana said it, but it seems to work now. Mat asks him, how? Rand meets Lanfear and Tel'aran'rhiod, and she's back on her throne in her S&M gear. He says he needs her to break him out of the palace, but she's pissed that he's with Moiraine. However, this request allows her to cause absolute carnage in the streets of Cairhien, so she's in. First stop, blowing up most of the Foregate. Was this what Rand had in mind? At the sanitarium, Alanna and Maxim discuss Lanfear being free in the world. Maxim says he misses the farm, and Alanna asks him if he thought they would fight the last battle against an army of kittens. Okay, fine, I like them again. Lan approaches Logain and asks him if he saw weaves on Moiraine. After some pushback, Logain finally admits he did see male weaves on her. Alanna rushes in with news about the fire in the Foregate. Lan tells Logain he will be going back to the tower to be studied by the Brown Ajah sisters. Lanfear has reached the main gate to the city, and she blows it up. She's pretending she doesn't enjoy this, but she does. Aviendha explains to Perrin that the beating was her fulfilling her toe, since it was her fault Jolene died. She sees Perrin's wedding ring and says Bane will be disappointed she can't sleep with him. Should've left that ring on the lantern, Perrin. The group reaches the ocean, and the Aiel are shocked by the large amount of water. At night, Nynaeve and Elayne stop a soldam in the street. Nynaeve distracts her, showing her the bracer on her wrist, then collars her, and Elayne knocks her out with a stick. Love the teamwork. In the kennels, Rena sponges off Egwene's hands and face. She tells her the Seanchan Empress has sent them to unite the world under the light in preparation for the last battle. Sounds good in theory, but... Egwene smiles and then sweetly says, I will kill you. Rena storms off with her bucket. In the palace dungeons, Barthanes has asked a servant to trap and drug Moraine. But no, Anver comes up behind him and traps him in the cell. Eat it, Barthanes. He tells his mother he did this for the family, and Moraine doesn't even care about them. Anver says her sister knows right from wrong and how hard it is to do what is right. She has already told the queen. She leaves Barthanes in a cell screaming as guards surround the door. Varen rushes into Moraine and Rand's cell. She says a bunch of statements to Elayne about Siuan needing her, and Elayne transfers Rand's shield to Varen. As soon as she leaves, Varen drops the shield. She is getting the Dragon Reborn the F out. Varen has used that Ogier map to find a waygate in the city they can use. Moraine tells Varen they're heading to Fam, and Varen, of course, knows the prophecy. Outside, we get a rundown of the current good guy team. Moraine Lan, Alana Maximivan, Varen Tomas. Not Siuan. Ugh. Moraine, Lan, and Rand head for the waygate, while above on the palace walls, Siuan and the other Aes Sedai, except Liandrin, overlook the havoc below. Siuan links with them the right way and creates a rainstorm to put out the fires. Elayne shows up and Siuan realizes she's been played. She leaves Elayne in charge and heads off. At the waygate, Lan has finally figured out that Moraine is not stilled. Rand can see that male weaves are tied off on Moraine. Lan explains that the Forsaken were able to shield people this way in the Age of Legends. Rand can't untie the knot, but he can cut it, and he does. Okay then, that's over. Moraine can channel again. She opens the waygate, but Siuan has arrived. Her partner of at least 20 years, surely nothing can go wrong. Psych, she shields Rand and orders Moraine to close the waygate. Because Moraine swore to obey her on the oath rod, Siuan commands her to close it, and she is physically compelled to do so. It's a total physical violation, and it changes things. They both know it. But they don't have much time because Lanfear is here now too. She tosses Siuan aside like a rag doll. Rand protects Moraine from her, and she loves it when he acts like Luz. Lanfear reopens the waygate, and they all go through. All except Siuan, who lies broken and weeping on the ground, calling for Moraine.
Was she calling for Moraine at the end?
Yeah.
She said Moraine.
And
She wasn't
please.
yelling, but yeah.
Oh, wow. It didn't come up in my captioning.
Yeah. Phew.
That was
Did
a lot.
it. That was, but I
That
feel
was-
like everything was important to be mentioned. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah,
That wasn't bad at all, Jen. That wasn't
All
that
right,
long.
good.
I don't
So
that
I
was as
can't
long as it had to
hear.
be.
I almost stopped. I can't hear myself in my headphones, but
Are you
I hear
supposed to
you
be able
guys,
to?
and my waves are showing up. Maybe it's. Oh, you know why I can't hear myself?
No.
You don't have it
I
the
think-
monitoring on.
Did I lower the volume? I don't know. Just keep
Just-
going.
I never have I never have myself in my headphones. It's very distracting.
I-
Yeah, yeah.
I was like really thrown off by it. I was worried it wasn't recording, but it looks like it was.
Yeah, I can
I
hear
don't know,
myself.
go ahead.
I can hear myself fine when I talk with headphones
I don't
on.
know. Oh wait.
Whoa.
Okay. I don't know. This is riveting for everyone, but okay,
Yeah,
you guys.
we're gonna keep.
We can start the show. I think I figured it
I
out.
really regret not having like saving all of your technical issue recordings because they're so awesome and putting them together. But
I was like panicking. I almost stopped because I was like, I don't want to have to read this whole thing over again.
all right.
But,
So
okay.
all right,
Anyway,
okay, we'll do a clean cut.
Yeah.
All right. So we start with the cold open, I guess, since that's where we always start. We get a flashback here. Sorry, Brendan, it's not a flashback into the, space world. Maybe next
So
episode.
they got one to go.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is Moraine and Siuan 20 years ago. They look so young, right? I like how they were. they were talking about retirement.
Yep.
And they were like 150 years away from retirement. Like they were like they lived for a long time.
It was like Lethal Weapon.
Yes.
Right?
Well, no,
When they had the fatality.
he's much closer to retirement, Murtaugh, than Swan and Moraine are in that
that's
scene.
what Dan said. He's like, oh, so close to retirement.
No, they're not even close to retirement.
I'm going to depress everyone on this show right now and point out that Danny Glover was younger than us when he made Lethal Weapon.
Oh, wow. But was it...
That hurts. That hurts.
Was it the second one?
If I have to know that, you all have to know that.
Okay, so just a couple things.
Man, he's on a city contract. He could probably retire at 40.
Yeah, he could probably retire at 40,
He
45.
probably started at like 19. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what happened.
But is it the first season? The first movie where he's going to retire, or is it the second one?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. This is his new partner.
Okay.
And then he doesn't retire at the end. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. That's our Lethal Weapon podcast. I don't know.
We'll come up with a name for that one.
I got nothing on that one.
Anyway, so we get this...
Talk a Riggs Riot.
Talk what?
Talk a Riggs Riot.
Talk around weapon.
I'm too old for this, Riyadh.
Guys, I got it in one. It's Talk a Riggs Riot. Let's move on.
Talk a Riggs Murtaugh.
I'm taking my name off this thing.
Okay. Anyway, the
special guest co-host Alan Smith.
We find out what happened 20 years ago, right? Like we got that speech by like Alana, like, Moraine, she was wonderful, and then something happened 20 years ago. She was never the same. So this is what happened 20 years ago. I have to say, I really like the way they did this. I like the way that they weaved the cold open of episode 7 from the first season into the cold open of episode 7 of the second season. I thought that was really cool. And I also liked how they, at the end, right, they sit on the two of them, right? The camera sits on Rosamund and then Sophie, and it goes back and forth, and you kind of can see it sinking into their heads, like what just happened, and it going from like what the fuck just happened to, oh man, like we're now, like everything's changed now, and how
so we got to do this now.
Yeah, which I thought they did a really good job on.
It's like everything changes in the first scene, and then everything changes in the last scene.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
For them. Yeah.
I want to point out, like, I know a lot of people were devastated by the fracturing of the relationship in this episode, but something that I thought was interesting is that their conversation about retirement basically shows you how, like, they're incompatible. Like what they want, like who they are and what they want out of life is not the same thing. Right. Yeah. And it's basically showing you like they love each other, but like she's a high lady or whatever her title is, and she was born in a hut, and this is going to, like, they're going to want different things.
Right.
And I thought that was sorry.
Yeah, no, we can finish. Sorry.
Yeah. Spoiler I just thought that was good highlighting. That's all.
Spoiler
the rest of their relationship from then on is like the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah. Basically.
So they don't have to like worry about being compatible like in that sense anymore.
Yeah. Good job. Kudos to Haley Mills on her bug-eyed. I wonder if she wore contacts for that or that was CGI. That was great. I thought about that.
I just thought, like, how good she looked. Her face was exactly the same as it looked like 20 years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, white eyes aside, but yeah, I liked her foretelling was like almost as if like she was in Rand's mom. Like her body was reacting the same way as I
love it when you talk dirty.
Nah, no problem. But and her death like was like she died at the same time. Like I thought that was like a very interesting way to show that.
Yeah. How did you like this scene, Brendan, or what did you think of it? Did it answer any questions for you?
It actually raised some more questions for me because I kind of didn't understand really throughout the whole show, and then just for whatever reason never brought up like why Swan and Moraine never told anybody else about all this. Like, it's never been entirely clear to me. And at this point in the episode, it still kind of wasn't. But I thought the scene was good. I thought the scene was very interesting. Tom, I surprised, agree with Tom that it was really interesting how they were effectively establishing from the get go that, like, oh, Swan and Moraine probably weren't going to work out, and then this happened.
Yeah,
it was like they accidentally had a kid,
right?
That they couldn't, give up for.
Just not something. Just not something that people in that kind of relationship usually have to worry about. But
they did accidentally have a kid. They did have a kid.
That's a good point. They just had to find that kid, though.
They had to find them for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. That's funny. They had a big redhead kid.
A big redhead kid.
I think Brendan's having some internet issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's back.
Let's see. Brendan, say Dragon Reborn.
Dragon Reborn.
Okay. You're not too far behind us.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Brendan's back. Yeah. Tom was just saying that they did have a kid together. Rand al'Thor.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, yes.
And they had to find the kid, though. It's like, hey, you have a kid.
Your baby is in another castle.
But we lost.
Also, and like because we didn't really get a lot of Swan all that much before this, and I kind of mentioned this jokingly on Twitter talking to Tom earlier, but this scene made me want to see the Marvel Comics what if version of the story where privileged manipulator Moraine becomes the wizard pope and gritty resourceful Swan goes and finds the dragon, and they're both way better at those jobs because knowing what we now know of knowing what we know of them, it kind of seems like they should have switched jobs.
Yeah.
Right.
And everything would have gone a little better.
Yeah.
I can't picture Moraine as the Amerlin, but I can picture Swan going out and searching for Rand for sure.
I mean, the Amerlin is basically the queen of the Aes Sedai, and Moraine's halfway there.
I feel like
nobody likes Moraine.
There's a reason why in the book
nobody likes Swan.
They do. The show's making it seem like everybody doesn't like Swan.
Nobody likes Swan. Nobody likes her. She has no friends. In the book, she has no friends.
She's the Amerlin. She's not supposed to have friends.
And if that's what the show is making it seem, that's what it is. We're talking about the show.
Yeah. All right. So let's.
Go ahead.
I
was just gonna say quick. In the book, there's a reason why Moraine goes, which isn't present in this story. So.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. In the prequel. Yeah, New Spring.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna save all the main stuff that happens at Cairhien with Rand, Swan, Moraine, and Lan and all them. I figure we'll do the other stuff first since it's shorter.
Shorter.
Yeah, let's start in Falm, right? We've got Nynaeve and Elayne. I'm just eating up every minute of the two of these together. I love it.
Fantastic.
They're fantastic. I feel like there should be more of them, but I feel like maybe then it would ruin it. I like that every time I see them together, yes. I want more.
Yeah, I agree. I think they don't even need to talk. Just Nynaeve's response, facial responses to what Elayne says, they're terrific.
Yeah,
it's so good.
The 3 minutes of, or whatever it is, of Loial immediately recognizing her, sinking to his knee, Nynaeve being like, "Your name sings in his ears."
Yes.
This is all
and Elayne's
and I love it. Yeah,
Elayne's soaking it up.
She even I was watching it again yesterday. I was watching it again yesterday, and I didn't notice it the first time. But not only is she starting to stand taller and smirk, she even glances over at Nynaeve. See, I'm the princess.
She loves him more because Nynaeve is seeing it. I think she would have been a little more gracious if Nynaeve wasn't there. She's like, "Oh yeah, see, this guy saw me. The other two of you had no idea who I was. He immediately sees me, knows my face, and does what he's supposed to do." Oh my God, it was so good. It was
encouraging.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Let me kneel down.
You don't encourage her. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
I love
You're
it.
right. Your name sings in your ears. So don't encourage it.
No, we got it.
Oh my god.
I this is jumping forward a bit, but there's really not that much of Nynaeve and
Yeah.
and
No.
Elayne.
Yeah.
But this is the second time this season where a villains were supposed to be really scared of fall for like Looney Tunes gags. Like, hey, look over there, bonk! Like, that's their big. And I legitimately love it. It's hilarious. I don't know if it's supposed to be hilarious, but
I feel like that was a little bit like if it was almost too much. Like the big stick kind of a thing was
right. Like, where'd she get a stick? From behind her?
So
why didn't they knock her out first and then collar her while she was unconscious?
No, because I think
What if she screamed?
I don't think they thought they would be able to knock her out easily if she wasn't like shocked by the fact that went on her.
Yeah, it kind of stunned her and made her apoplectic.
I can't wait till next week when they paint a tunnel on a rock.
And that's how they kill
to get away to finally get Elayne away from that's how Lanfear dies.
She thought it was a Waygate.
So I just want to.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask a question to Brendan, but if you wanted to talk more about this,
I think we might be asking the same question.
Go ahead.
So
you ask it,
Brendan. Their plan, right, was like it's the Star Wars plan, basically. Okay, we're gonna go and we're gonna pretend to be the cops, and we're gonna have a prisoner. Except they take a Soldam and they put the Adam on her.
Yeah.
Did that surprise you?
Yeah. Like that seems not.
It surprised me that it. I was going to say it surprised me that it worked, but that's confusing. It surprised me that they were able to make the thing function.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does it just like go on whoever you stick it on?
That was I gotta say that's what jumped out to me too, and that's why I wanted to see if it was the same thing for you. Like,
no, I mean it's it seemed a little weird, but it's one of those things where like, well, I guess it does because the show just showed me that happen.
Yeah.
So okay, like that's.
So like when
works.
you go to put it on, it just opened. Is that what happened?
Well,
yeah.
okay.
Like, just like hope this works.
Well, okay.
The other way she would gashed her in the throat.
Well, they were doomed when the two of them and Rima were examining it or channeling into it or something. It seemed like they were figuring out how it worked.
No, I know that, but like it's closed, and then you just have to be like,
well, that's what.
It's opening.
That's what happened to Egwene too. They just put the thing on her.
Yeah,
and
but they didn't
off.
see it.
No,
I'm just saying they didn't know until.
But so okay, I'm gonna recall what they say in the show.
So I'm sorry.
This is interesting.
Before you say that, I just want to answer what Jen said. Right? They saw it go on Rima just the previous day.
Oh,
like,
true.
They've seen it. They've seen it.
I feel like we haven't gotten a good shot. Like every shot we've got is like this. You know, we haven't gotten the shot of like, does it open? Does it disappear? Like, how does it actually?
That's on purpose.
It's just like
because of CGI.
Nanotech. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Tom. I just wanted to answer that to Jen. Sorry. Go ahead.
So when they do that, and that's the thing that calls the Soldam and the Damani over to them, all the guards, right? What Nynaeve says is it needs to be healed, and it can only be healed. Do you recall? Like, it can only be healed by putting on someone who can channel.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, I thought that was really, odd.
I don't know.
That's what they say.
Aaron is saying, and Aaron in chat is saying they said on a woman.
No,
I don't know though.
I don't think they said someone who can channel.
I think that they do.
I don't know if she said that.
Someone pull it up.
Because they could just put it on anybody then. Like, well, maybe they do. Maybe they do.
No, I'm not saying that they can't. I'm saying
maybe
that's
they
not
do,
what
and
they said. That's all I'm saying.
No. I got you. Maybe I'm misremembering it. That's why it seemed weird to me.
Yeah.
I guess. But maybe I'm misremembering
even if that's Yeah, I guess. But like, even if it can only be healed, even if it can only be healed by putting it on someone who can channel, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't put it on someone who can't.
Right.
That was a complicated sentence, but I think I got
it
it.
won't be healed.
Right.
Right.
Maybe you could like. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Square is a rectangle, but a rectangle isn't a square.
Right. There we go.
All
Thank you,
squares
Joe.
aren't rectangle, right? Or a square is a rhombus, but not all rhombuses are squares.
All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares.
Yes. All right.
Which is what you said. So why did I say it again?
Yeah, I don't know. I said it a couple times.
You threw rhombuses in
Last
there.
person who says it is most right.
I think Brendan was giving us some alternate takes for the podcast in case I want to use a different one.
You bet the odds.
Let me do it again. Let me take it again.
Let's take it again. Let me get this. I'll get this square thing right soon. All right, so Egwene as Damane. Oh my God, how awesome was it? Right, the first Damane channels and they're like, very good. That was really good. Pretty strong there. And then Egwene goes and she like blows the shit out of everybody. So much so.
Rennis. God, finish. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting.
I was gonna say so much so that like they hear it back in Falm and Loyal's like, what the fuck was that?
And if you go and watch that, they're really fucking far away from the city too.
Yes.
Like it's like this small in the distance, you know?
Yeah.
So Renna says, I don't need you for this.
Yeah, because she controls her. Like she controls Egwene.
Like you don't have to do anything. I'm gonna do it.
They never have to do it.
How does she know?
So the last time they channeled together, like she walked Egwene, she's like, feel the tree.
Egwene did it. She's just like guiding her.
I think she's saying like we're. I think this is more like, just stand there. I'm gonna take care of this. I'm not gonna have to walk you through feeling the air and blowing it out. Or
yeah, I also think this is something that she's done before. This specific test, so she knows how to do it. So she doesn't need Egwene's like.
Oh, Renna, you mean?
Yeah, Renna. So like the other thing, maybe she was just. Maybe it was something she didn't know how to do yet or hadn't done or didn't have experience with that she knew other Soldam did, and she was trying to, get it going. You
don't think that Egwene is her first Damane?
I don't know. She could be.
I do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Definitely, that's the definite impression I got from Renna. That it's like this is her first rodeo.
Right. That's why she doesn't have like she's got the scarring, but not the coloring.
The other woman. The woman that was like the leader of the Soldam did not have the paint on.
Jen, quick, Jen. That's the Dare Soldam.
Dare Soldam.
Dare Soldam.
Okay.
Remember, Brendan, keep that in your head. The Dare Soldam. It's the head Soldam. Well, not the head, just like the next level higher or something.
She's a Soldam trainer.
The manager. She's the manager of the Soldam.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get in the book.
No, don't get talking to you.
Go read your tune. And then we get the next scene between them, right? We get like a reinforcement of the Seanchan purpose, right? I think we heard that earlier with Torok. In like the second, I don't know, it might have been the second episode or third episode. So like we get a reminder, this is what the Seanchan are here. Sounds like they're here to do good. They want to unite the world to fight it, to beat the Dark One in the last battle. They don't seem so bad.
No.
Yeah, we're just gonna enslave a bunch of you, but everyone else is gonna be okay. Just the slave ones, don't worry about.
Yeah, but we're doing it for a good cause.
Those aren't people. They're not people. It doesn't matter.
That's true.
Yeah, they're demonic.
That's I'm sorry, Jen.
The people, Elayne does point out that
on a channel. I'm good.
Elayne does point out that the people in Falm seem to very quickly take to Seanchan occupation, which.
But that's what the guy said in the town with the White Cloaks. He was like, once they kind of finish what they got to do, they're actually not at that bad.
It's better than the
leave
White Cloaks.
You alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than the White Cloaks. The slavers are better than the White Cloaks.
Because they don't enslave everyone.
Yeah. That's
true. As a business owner, male, he was perfectly fine.
As a white business landowner, he
was good.
But I mean,
he's actually better off probably because his female boss had to leave to chase his granddaughter.
He wasn't the owner of the inn before the Seanchan showed up, and now he is.
They elevated his status.
Yeah. So Egwene, just in case at the end of last episode you thought Egwene was broken. She's clearly not, because she tells Renna that she's going to kill her while she's undoing her Seanchan hairdo and redoing her Two Rivers braid.
Yeah.
And Rena doesn't even punish her. I think Rena is falling in love with Egwene.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
No, man.
No.
Did you see the way she looked at her when like Egwene was like, Rena? She was like,
He just wants her to be.
Yes, Egwene. She was
That's
like sitting
not love,
like
She
man.
wants them to be like. She wants Egwene to just give up and be like. She wants them to have a good relationship. Why would you want like your dog to bite you all the time?
I think she wants.
You want to cuddle your dog on the couch and pet him and give him treats.
She wants to fuck her dog.
Way.
No way.
Yes, she
100% no.
Don't.
That's bestiality in their culture.
Dirty bestiality. No. I think she's. No, I don't think she wants to have sex with Egwene. I think she's has romantic feelings for Egwene.
Absolutely 100%.
I disagree. I don't think she thinks of. Yeah.
She doesn't even consider her a person anymore.
Yeah, she's not human. That's not. It's 100% like, yes, my dog is trained.
Well,
and here it comes. She's gonna get the paper for me.
But it's your dog.
But if my dog was said they was gonna kill me, I would at least punish it.
She did.
Her feeling. No, she didn't. She walked out of the room like all upset.
I forgot. I thought you meant last week.
No, she literally walked out of the room, stormed out of the room like she was about to cry because.
I think she feels
she's disappointed in herself.
Yeah.
She can't control her dae'mar.
I can't imagine things are going to go better for Egwene, like the next time we see her. I imagine this girl's going to be super pissed.
Oh yeah. All right. Go ahead.
In this episode, and the stuff with the Seanchan was relatively brief, but this episode I think made me realize why part of why I really didn't like last week's episode. I simply cannot take the Seanchan seriously. They just strike me as so silly. Like
really,
they're just ridiculous to me. Like the costumes and the tattoos and the dopey haircuts and the pratfall when Egwene hits does the thing, like they all fall over like clowns. It's just. They do nothing for me as villains. They're like a bunch of fucking bib fortunas. Like they're henchmen of henchmen, and I don't care.
You can reach him at B_T_Johnson on Twitter.
They're just not doing it for me.
So I hear you about. I have to say I'm not a fan of the facial scarring stuff either. I think it is a little bit like
the painted face.
It's just so over the top.
They did go a little over the top.
Oh my god!
I do feel I can see a lot of that, but I really do feel like the whole like enslaving people stuff was done really effectively. Like
they're loathsome, but they're not scary. Like they're not.
I don't think they're supposed to be scary. Okay. I think Brendan, then you've got them. They're not supposed to be scary. I don't think. I think they're supposed to be loathsome, like you said, kind of like despicable people. That I don't think they're supposed to be scary though.
Well, you know what? Well, let's put a pin in this. I think we're going to talk about Brendan's thoughts after he's off the show.
Yeah,
like the way that good friends do.
Yeah, like we talk behind his back. Should we jump over to Matt? Because I feel like we're going to spend some time here. And we can always cut some of the other stuff. Go ahead.
Can I make a suggestion? Can we jump over to Perrin first? Because I think we're going to be able to knock out Perrin pretty quickly.
Okay.
Not much. I mean, that's another very short part of the episode.
Perrin and Avienda.
Because you're right. We're going to be on that for a while.
Yeah, Perrin, even though not much happens. Perrin and Avienda are walking in the with Hopper, walking in the desert. Yes. We find a couple of other Aiel maidens, and they're doing some sign language talk to each other. And Avienda tells the other two maidens to beat the crap out of her because it was her fault that the other one died. Yeah. And then one of them, I was very happy about this, I think it was Bane, did an Achilles flying punch, which I was very excited about.
Yeah, she did the whole,
She did the flying Achilles punch.
Which Avienda did in the previous episode, or 2 episodes ago.
That's right. Yeah, she did do that. That's right.
She did the Superman punch. We call it a Superman punch.
Yeah.
When you say flying Achilles, I think of when he comes around the back and stabs the guy in the heart from behind and kills him. Remember at the beginning of that movie?
Yeah, he's at the kill move. It's through the clavicle.
Yeah,
that's his finisher.
Yes.
When he charges all his attack meter.
Okay.
And you hit all four.
That's what
trigger
Egwene
buttons.
was trying
Hector
to do to
blocks it the
Valda.
first time.
He
She
does.
missed it.
Sorry. All right.
She was trying to do that to Valda, but she missed it.
She missed it. The knife was too short.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was nice to meet these two other maidens.
I'm sorry. I have a comment. I'm sorry. I have a comment about Valda's arm really quick. Can we do a quick tangent?
That was like 3
A quick
episodes ago.
tangent.
I know, just really quick, like a minute. People were saying online that Valda's arm injury was from Avienda because Dane says the last guy who tried to talk to her almost got his arm ripped off. But that depresses me because I want to believe he's still nursing a sick member.
He is. He absolutely is.
Okay.
That person doesn't
see what you guys
understand the
thought.
character of Valda. Valda would never put himself in a position where he might get hurt. And he's fundamentally a coward and
That's
a
what I
crybaby.
thought. Okay, sorry. Just want to see if you guys agree.
I buy it. I buy it.
All right.
Back to Perrin and Avienda. Brendan, what did you think about this penance through beating? I don't know.
I thought it was pretty interesting. At first, I thought it was going to go a different way, and that Avienda was going to beat them up. But going the way it did made sense for what I know of the Aiel so far.
Not much. Yeah.
All one episode full of.
Yeah. They're. But yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good introduction to these two new characters, who, from what I understand, are kind of a big deal. Everybody seems like kind of a big deal from these books with you guys, but
they're all Ron Burgundies.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was interesting, and I thought I'm developing a new appreciation for Perrin, not as a character, but as an introduction to various factions, because that's pretty much what they use him for.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
That's pretty.
Let's meet some new people. Have Perrin talk.
Have Perrin meet them and learn about a new way of looking at the world.
Now he's
This
got
is his fourth group.
Eventually working into like some sort of unique philosophy.
Yeah, that he was with this year.
Now he's got a wolf and 3 sexy ninjas.
It's true.
Yeah.
Life's getting better and better.
He's leveling up for
Every
sure.
word of this story is true.
I never thought it would happen.
Yeah. And then 2 more sexy ninjas bumped up out of the sand.
They beat up the other sexy ninja. Kind of turned me on. All right. That was Perrin. I hope we see him some more.
I just want to say, when they see the ocean, that's supposed to be nighttime, not like a weird storm's blowing in. I think that the filter that they put to try and make that, that's. I will say
that was all nighttime. I thought that was just I thought it was all just like a dusty.
No, it's supposed to be nighttime.
Dusky.
I think that the first season, not 100% their fault, had some spotty CGI and like a VFX work. I haven't really said that at all this season, but this was the first time I'm like, that doesn't look great. And the reason it's supposed to be, it's not supposed to be the middle of the night, but it's then, and it cuts, the next scene is nighttime in Falm, right? It's supposed to be night, and it's just like an effect that they put over the shot. Yeah, like they filmed it during the day. And like I was
very much right. They were shooting a scene at night at noon.
But sometimes, like the moon will hit it'll be like brighter by the water because the way the moon hits the water. That's kind of the lighting that I think they're going for.
And it doesn't look like that.
Well,
it looked like
Brendan. What were you in the desert?
Purple.
Why were you in the desert?
The desert
the
ocean.
Beach?
Yes.
Yeah,
you don't know.
It's Morocco.
You don't know what I get up to.
I go to the beach desert all the time.
When we were in Morocco, Brendan. Okay, that's where this is. It's in Morocco. At
what point does it go? Was it stop being desert sand and become beach sand?
No, there's no point. It's the same.
It's just seamless.
It's all sand, John.
Okay.
It's all sand.
When it starts being beach sand at the point where the tide hits it.
Oh, okay. When it gets wet.
When
it gets wet.
Good answer.
There you go.
I just made that up.
Yeah, there you go.
But
put it down in the encyclopedia.
Deal with it.
Could it work? Sure.
Matt. All right. I wanna talk about this for a little bit. So right, he gets knocked out by Lanfear and teleported to Falm, right? Why the fuck did Ishamael have Leandrin, have Min, trick Matt, take him to Kyrian, then tell him you need to take Rand to Falm, and then just, oh, you know what? Fuck that. Let's just knock him out and teleport him to Falm.
Because he wanted him to go with Rand.
Okay.
Right. And then Rand didn't go.
But he still could go.
So they're like, you know what? We're going to just do this instead. I think it's a change of plans.
Yes.
That's all. Change of plans. Min didn't do what she was supposed to do. She warned Matt. So Rand and Matt didn't leave.
Well, Rand didn't leave.
But if Min didn't warn Matt, Matt would have went with Rand. They would have left before Rand got there.
No, they wouldn't have.
I think
literally,
so.
like Rand goes, "All right, I guess I'm leaving," and that's when they show up. Like he was waiting for a long time. So I think
Elayne and Alana and them would have just shown up at that point anyway.
You think they were waiting for Rand to walk?
Well, but Ishamael doesn't have knowledge of that.
He's Taviran. Right. They would have showed up and stopped him from leaving.
But Ishamael doesn't know that they were coming. Right. They were supposed to leave together.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Right. And then when the plan went awry, he's like, just bring him over here. I'm going to do the tea thing. Come on, just do that.
Can we?
You're going to do the tea thing again? Yeah, I'm going to do the tea. No, it's going to work. Trust me. I love it.
Yeah, let's do the tea thing.
There's
right?
one guy that always works on.
Everybody loves the tea thing. The tea
it's the best.
The tea things.
So there was
the tea thing plays.
So I watched
the
this.
Tea thing plays. Oh, the nose plays.
I watched this episode with my wife, and I think there were 3 distinct times where I paused it and turned to her and said, or not turned to her, but paused it and said, "What the fuck is going on? This is
Were they
bonkers."
all in the scene?
No, this was one of those points, though. Yeah, what the fuck is going on? And this is more for book readers, just Brendan, like why I'm saying that, because none of this happens. Nothing even close to this happens in the book.
Most of the show
something close to this. Something close to this happens.
Yeah, a very small part of all the Matt stuff kind of is close to something that happens in the book. The rest of it is not.
Right.
Yeah, so Ishamael's like, "Here, have some of this tea." He says something like, "When I drank it, it was like the first time I slept through the night," or so. I don't know what was
he finally
going
knew
on.
himself.
Right. He couldn't sleep because every time he tried to sleep, all he could think about was how shitty the world was, and then I knew, and then I could sleep or whatever. I don't know.
then I saw.
Brendan has thoughts.
Go ahead, Brendan. I want to hear your thoughts.
I don't know if they're capital T thoughts.
No, it's not. It's actually not about the tea. I put that on Twitter because I didn't think I'd get to it here. This is another example of the show hiding a whole bunch of stuff in a cut between scenes, because like he gets bonked on the head and wakes up in Falm with Lanfear telling him, "Welcome to Falm," or whatever it is she says. And he goes out and looks
Falm, motherfucker.
So everybody knew that we were in Falm.
Right. I completely missed that she said that, and then he opened the door, and I was like, "Oh shit, he's in Falm." And then I watched it the second time, and I was like, "Oh, she said you're in Falm." Like completely.
And then like he goes out on the balcony, he sees they're in Falm. They cut away from him. They do another couple scenes, and then they cut back to the room, and he's like waking up again.
No, I don't think
so. Oh no, that's the thing. He's not even waking up again. He's just sitting around. And Ishamael's there making tea? Just like
this is their Airbnb.
Get there.
It's just
forsaken Airbnb that they're staying.
It's another thing where like I don't know, a good 20-30 minutes of stuff has to happen to
and Matt just
get to this point.
And Matt just stays in the room.
And Matt's just sitting there.
It just stays in the room.
Matt's just hanging out with Ishamael. In his awesome vest that we got a new angle on, which I loved.
Yeah.
But
the back is great.
The back is amazing. Everything about there's a lot of great costumes in this episode, actually, but not on the Seanchan. But
or Matt.
Yeah, it was just another. Well, Matt's been wearing the same clothes for like a year.
2 years.
It's a full year. One full year plus.
A full year.
Same clothes.
Does Matt bathe and put the same clothes back on?
He does not bathe. He's been in a prison.
He hasn't bathed the entire time?
Do you see a bathroom in there?
He left his hometown with the clothes on his back a year ago and has had a very bad time since. He
All right.
has one set of clothes that he's been wearing for a year. But
So-
that's beside the point. It didn't even bother me, but it's just one of those things where we're like, when did Ashamile get there? Why is Matt just like waiting for his tea? So much had to happen to get to that point that we didn't get to see.
I think it's clear, Brendan, and you missed it. Matt has a concussion from when Lanfear hit him over the head.
Drop them into a wall and then a floor.
They all have concussions. They've all been
concussions.
They've all had so much head trauma.
I'll take it.
The sleeper hour.
Traumatic brain injuries. Season 2's theme.
So,
or that's CTE.
There's a lot of headshots. People get thrown into walls all over the place. I do imagine a lot of that is like you've already seen him introduce himself to a bunch of hi, it's me. I'm the guy with the fire eyes. Earlier this year.
I get it.
It's really me. Just chill out.
But like, if you're gonna do that, just have Ashamile be in the room in the first place. Have Ashamile say welcome to Thom.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess he was busy doing other evil stuff. Who knows?
I guess.
Yeah,
I think Ashamile's. Whatever. From what you do see, it is clear Ashamile is not talking until Matt talks to like try and make him like, try and get his nervousness up to a point. Of course, Matt has the second best line in the episode with his
sex or murder. Is this a sex or
murder thing? Because either way,
skip the talking.
But the first best line is loyal. Is loyal introducing himself to Elayne, and all right, your name's Season Desires. That's the best line. But like yeah, I don't know.
Here's a question. Lanfear like cloaks and hides herself, covers herself up in a cloak, sneaks up behind him and pushes him into something to knock him out.
I don't think that was her.
I don't think that was Lanfear.
I don't know who it was, but I
think it was Lanfear. Who else would it be? And then he literally wakes up and the next thing Lanfear.
A dark friend?
I don't think so.
There's dark friends everywhere.
I think that was Lanfear. No, everyone's saying no.
People are like, that person was a man.
Too tall for her. All right.
So somebody, Kate in chat is suggesting it was Tomas, which I also just thought because I have a problem with where Tomas went because they never explained it.
He went to go find the Waygate.
Yeah.
She gives him the map.
Oh, she handed him the map?
And that's where he goes.
Okay, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
No, because that happened after Matt got knocked out anyway.
I don't know if it. I don't remember the timeline of things.
I'm looking at my recap to figure it out. So yeah.
But yeah,
I think that was a guy.
Just because Yvonne doesn't trust him.
Well, Yvonne follows him, and then I guess he's talks to him.
Yeah, they find the Waygate together.
I don't think. I don't think Barthanes is knocking anybody on.
No, Barthanes.
Yeah, come on.
It's just a random dark friend.
He's knocking out butter on the sandwich.
That's even worse. That's even worse then.
Or it's maybe it's a Shamael.
Because then I don't get to make my point.
Then I think
I didn't get to tell. He's an asshole.
Can we just pretend it was Lanfear so I can make
so you can make your
sure, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not a joke.
That Lanfear.
It's not a joke. It's a point that I was going to point out that Lanfear hides herself and wears a cloak and whatever, so you don't know it's her to get Matt. But then later on, it's just strolling through Kerry and blowing shit up.
That's because
later on is a very different context.
No, yeah. I know, but
it's later on. Later on, it's like the end of Beetlejuice, when he's like, "It's showtime," and then he comes out and turns the house to a dark carnival. She's like, "Let's go, baby."
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that later in the second half of the podcast. Yeah. So what is Matt seeing here? What is going on? We just see a bunch of shitty people, and then Matt turning into them.
But are the shitty people the shitty people are his past lives? Right?
Yes,
but he only has shitty past lives. Is that what it is?
That's the whole thing. He's a shitty person.
He's got a shitty soul.
He only sees the shitty ones.
So okay, so I think that's
clearly
that's clearly what's happening. But I think there's an important thing here, and as we go through it, first of all, I want to love this scene because it's the most Twin Peaks that the show has gotten.
Yes.
But I don't love it because I think it's bad Twin Peaks. I think it's trying to be creepy rather than being effectively creepy, at least for me. But if he was a shitty person, if Matt thought of himself like as a shitty person, his dad would have been there. But Matt is somebody who thinks he's a shitty person and thinks of himself as like doesn't know he's a shitty person, thinks like is constantly berating himself. So he sees his mom, and his mom is the person that he identifies with, right? And his mom is just castigating him. Like that's his thing about his mother, is that his mother, like that's his relationship with his mother. His mother is telling him all of his worst fears, right? His father is the shitty person. And I think that that's an important thing, that because that's who he turns into, right? He turns into his mom. That's who he sees reflected back as himself. That's his last thing, right? Is his mom's holding him.
He sees himself.
And then, well, yeah,
So
his mom's holding him.
He's his mom.
Right.
And he's holding his mom, and then he turns back into himself. It's weird.
Right. And it's like, that's the final reflection, is the person who tells him all the things he's most afraid of about himself is who he sees himself as.
Well, she only says the same thing over and over again, so it's not like she tells him a bunch of things.
They couldn't write her any new dialogue.
No new dialogue. Prick, prick, prick.
That's the thing that echoes
for 20
in his head.
years, that's the only thing she ever said.
Well, I think it's
that we saw.
You saw that, and then you saw Rand tell him that he was being that.
Right.
Like that has like that resonance. But like I think it's an important definition between rather than seeing the shitty behavior that his mother accused him of modeled in his father, right? Like you're gonna be like your dad, right? He's a prick, you're gonna be a prick. He doesn't see his dad. He sees his mother telling him all this bad stuff about him. He doesn't see the bad stuff.
I don't know.
I think that's an important I think that's an important.
I feel like you're trying to make a point to us, but I don't know if that's what we were asking.
Well, okay, sorry.
No, we were asking about all the other people that he sees.
Well, Jen already answered that.
It's his past lives.
Yeah,
but I'm saying, but then I said he only had shitty past lives.
Yes,
all of his past lives.
He sees his shitty past lives.
Now, is that because of the
or it's a snapshot? Maybe those people were bad and he was killing them.
It was
for good reasons. You don't know the context behind those murders.
Maybe all those people deserve to die.
Maybe they.
Yes, I hope they die. I hope they're burned in hell.
Yes, that's it. That's it. He's
Deep Blue Sea, juice. A fucking shark ate me. A motherfucking shark.
Okay.
Joe, we've lost Joe for a bit. We'll get him back. Brendan, go ahead. You're going to say something.
No, I like the scene. I thought Jonathan did like a really good job. I agree that it was very Twin Peaks. He brought a lot of Leland Palmer energy to that final cackle.
That was creepy.
But yeah, it was creepy, and the screaming at his like the laughing at himself and then screaming at himself has like very high meme potential. I think we're going to see a lot of that going forward. But something that's and this is having no connection to Matt whatsoever and having no like real knowledge of the character beyond the show. Like, just once could this guy be even a little bit defiant of all the terrible shit that keeps happening to him? Like last week, Min's like, you can't go to farm with Rand. You're going to kill him. And he's like, oh, well, I guess I better not go. And then like he's kidnapped by a couple of demons, and the one guy's like, here, drink this tea. And he waits exactly 15 minutes, and he's like, well, I guess I'll drink the tea. He doesn't tell Ishamael to fuck off. He doesn't like throw the tea off the balcony. He's just like, yeah, okay, I guess this might as well happen. Like, he's just like sort of getting kicked around by life. And I mean, maybe that's the point, but like, come on, Matt, get your head in the game.
I always feel like this whole season is a setup for Matt, because he wasn't where he was supposed to be in their original plan. So they're just like made up some shit to get him where he has to be at the end of this to continue the story they wanted him to continue to be.
In season 3. I feel like I get that a little bit, but I also say like they did a huge time jump if that were the case, they could have just put him where they wanted to be. I feel like for whatever reason, this is the storyline they wanted for this guy. And I think that, to Brendan's point, I asked some people who were book readers whether they thought at the end of that scene when he goes, how? Right? That's the thing he said, like, we're gonna stop this all. He's like, how? Like, whether Matt is all in with it, yes, like, I'm miserable too, let's do it, or whether Matt's tricking him or like trying to like play along with him or whatever. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm sure. And I'm like, the show has given you no indication that is who Matt Cawthon is.
No.
Like, that is like Matt Cawthon of the show is like, okay, that sounds good. This
Matt's
life
crying
is
again.
pretty bad.
Yes, have
like,
some.
so much so much so that until you said it right now, it never even occurred to me that Matt was just like playing.
No, I didn't think that.
No.
either.
As a possibility that Matt was playing along.
No,
He's 100% buying it.
that's just hopeful thinking. Now, I would hope, just the way that stories work in general, that like it's the last episode, he's gonna have an opportunity to do something bad, and he's gonna either embrace it and become a bad guy, or say, no, I will be good this time, and like realize that he has free will or whatever, and like can be like, he's been so passive this whole season. It does make sense that he like his character arc is taking a positive action, not a positive good action, but just like taking an action and not reacting to things, or just
giving Matt
being passive.
Giving Matt some agency, maybe.
Yes.
Because all he does, like, you're right, Brendan, all he does is what other people tell him to do this whole season. It's just like,
or just nothing, or he just sits there.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't do anything unless somebody tells him to do something, and
right.
It's kind of
So,
sad and boring and dull.
I mean, we know from the trailers he does take a spear at one point and stab it downward. So there's some kind of action that will happen.
He's probably just gonna wind up stabbing his own foot or something.
Oh.
Yes.
Stab that spear down, Matt. Okay.
Okay.
Like, he just pick up a spear and just hit the lock with it. You got it, boss. And that's the scene, right?
Is it the Seanchan back?
It's like, yeah, it's that guy.
It's that guy.
You want me to stab the spear down, boss? I'll stab the spear.
Oh man, I want a cartoon Seanchan soldier. All right,
man.
do you have?
They're already cartoon Sean. All the soldiers, all the Seanchan soldiers are cartoons.
Like, I understand the stuff. I understand, but I love their costumes. I'm not talking about the makeup. The makeup is over
You're
the
right.
top.
I do think the makeup is over the top as well. And
but the costumes, I think, are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
They look like every fantasy series that I've watched or seen pictures of, everyone is dressed exactly the same. Right? Is exactly the same. Every culture has the same fashion, which is not the world, especially in a world with isolated cultures. They actually look different. They look weird, and it does look over the top. And I think that as the series progresses, you'll probably find out, like, hey, maybe that's like they do that intentionally to like throw people off or whatever. But like, I love the fact that they are just radically different than what anybody wears in the Westlands.
Yeah, I will also say this too. Like, we're really only seeing the soldiers, the army people, like the Soldam and the actual like warrior soldiers, and the noble people. That's all we're really seeing. Like, you're not seeing normal, like, regular everyday Seanchan people really much, and they look a lot more normal. Like, their dress isn't going to be as bizarre and freakish as what, you know, because we're seeing like literally just like a very small section of the Seanchan, and the most extravagantly dressed.
Yeah, it's like the Hunger Games. People who live in the capital. That's like with their crazy outfits and weird hair.
Yeah.
And then you get to
is someone going to put their clothes on fire in this season? That'd be kind of cool.
Tom, don't spoil it. We'll talk about that later. Does anyone have any more Matt stuff they want to talk about? Because I have a lot of Matt stuff to talk about again after the break. This is going to be a long after the break.
Yeah, first time in a while.
Anyone more Matt?
No.
All right, so let's cut over to Leandrin. That's the last one before we go to the rest of Kyrian. I threw it separately because it's really a Barthanes. This is really the Barthanes portion of the story. Barthanes is a dark friend.
I audibly booed
Why?
I was watching it alone. I was watching it alone on my laptop, and I went, "Boo!"
Wait, were you?
Boo.
Why were you? Were you booing that? Like,
I was booing Barthanes. I wasn't booing the plot development. I was booing
okay, yeah.
Barthanes.
When you found out it was bad,
yeah. It was. I was booing in the way they wanted me to boo.
Okay, it happens both ways. So
It does. No. I thought, it's this fucking little Lord Fauntleroy shithead. Like, I should have known.
So, I feel like I went back and forth, and I didn't want to maybe like he's very nice, maybe he's too nice. She's like I didn't know whether I thought one of them was bad, either him or his mom. I thought one of them was bad because I felt like regular people would just be like, "Get the fuck out of the house! Get out of the house, Maury! You're such a bitch. Leave!" I was like, something's wrong. But oh man, it was such a great reveal.
Yeah, I just this is like a spoiler, but not, because obviously Barthanes is a dark friend. He is this character is in the books, and he's a dark friend, though he's Moraine's uncle or cousin, and he's it's a different kind of character,
completely different person.
Yeah, he's like a mushroom twirling villain. He's totally evil, from the beginning.
What?
Mustache.
I said mushroom twirling.
It's me, Barthanes. You want a pizza?
I think I might have had some tea before this episode. Yeah, a mustache twirling.
I'm going to let it sit out for 15 goddamn minutes.
I think we broke Jen. Yeah, so it was kind of fun because I think a lot of the fandom was like, "Ooh, maybe they're going to screw with us and make Anvir a dark friend just to mess with us." But I have a question here.
Selling mushrooms.
So when Leandra comes and gives him orders, she says, "Our master wants him to kill Moraine." Do you really think she got an order from Lanfear or Shamael to kill Moraine, or do you think this is her just like, "I want Moraine dead, and I'm telling you to do it"?
Maybe you're right. I have no idea now.
What do you think?
But yeah, actually, I do, because Lanfear came to her and gave her an order in her room when she killed her son.
Right.
And Lanfear hates Moraine.
Yeah.
Right.
She's coming at Moraine from a bunch of different angles to get rid of her.
I think probably what happened is Lanfear told her to have Barthanes kill Moraine, but I don't think Leandra took a ton of convincing.
No, of course not.
I don't think that Lanfear is who Barthanes is talking about as his master. I think Leandrin's letting him think if she wants this.
Oh no, it's Lanfear, definitely.
Yeah, but I think Lanfear is like, let's kill this bitch.
So there's one thing in this scene that makes me think it's herself. When she walks in, she just stares fixated at the picture of Moraine on the wall, making me and you could sense the vitriol that she has.
She wants her dead, so it's a win-win.
I feel like they did that though to kind of say this is Leandrin talking here because she hates Moraine so much.
I don't know.
It's possible.
I think it's possible, but I also think it's one of it kind of doesn't matter.
Lanfear gives her the order, and she's like, "I was gonna do that anyway."
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, this always makes up for always makes up for you murdering my son.
Yeah, sure. I'll do it for you. Yeah, definitely.
Can we talk a little bit more about Anvir's hole? Her listening hole.
It's a secret listening hole.
At least it wasn't a picture where her eyes could look through.
Honestly, that would have been even better. And I thought it was great. I thought it was terrific.
Sorry.
I can't.
He just goes he's just like, "Mom, go away," and he at no point does, and he just starts talking to the evil Aes Sedai about how he's going to kill his aunt.
Well, to be fair,
30 seconds after she leaves,
she exits stage right, and the listening hole stage left in the wall.
I guess
so, the hole itself is not secret, right? It's the passageway that's secret behind the hole. Right, and the hole's just there.
I think she's down below. I think because the hole's up higher, so I think she's downstairs.
Yeah. But my point is that it's not the hole's just in the room. It's not hidden.
No, it's just like a vent.
I think that he doesn't. No. Yeah, he doesn't know that she can get behind it and listen. That's That's the secret piece of
Sorry,
it.
I'm just picturing her looking through Moraine's eyes.
The poster.
What? She got the picture of her. She's the kid. She put her own eyes where the kid's eyes
Oh
are.
yeah.
Like honestly,
Very
now
lifelike.
that you've put it out there and they didn't do it, then now I'm disappointed. Because you're right, they could have just done. They could have
The eyes
gone
like pop out like
Yeah,
daggers.
looking around.
And I mean, oh man, Anvir's cold, man. She's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's it. I'm tricking my son, locking him up, and
My
telling
son's
the
a dark
queen,
friend. What am I
telling the
supposed to do?
queen, and
Done.
having him killed. Right? I'm assuming those guys were there. We're just gonna kill him, right? Right after.
I don't know.
I don't-
They're pointing. They're
about that.
pointing in. Like
Yes,
they're pointing.
yes,
If
yes.
those were guns,
But they're not
he
guns,
clearly
right?
died.
I was gonna say, like, when they come in, it threw me off for a second because they come in holding what I eventually realized were pole arms or halberds or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But they come in and they look like they're carrying rifles.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
Well,
very
They're
strange.
holding them up.
because
Yeah, like,
that's because they're carrying halberds in a hallway
Right.
with like normal size ceilings, which you shouldn't be carrying halberds there. You don't. That's not the kind of weapon you would use in those kind of close quarters. But let's just fucking have them
I
carry
guess if they're
halberds.
going to start stabbing him through the door, like they just need to get
Time
holes
was a
in there.
factor.
That's
They had
it.
to get what they could get.
Yeah, they can only find halberds. But yeah, the way they they march down the hallway, and then they all like shift their halberds like towards the door, and I'm like, they're gonna kill him, right? That's what this is. This is like, okay, they're coming to kill you.
I thought that at first, but in retrospect, I think it's literally like if he can, who knows what a dark friend can do? If he gets out of this door, we're just gonna murder him. Like we're
They're
not
guards.
like we're like super on guard. I don't know.
I thought-
Barthanes is just a whiny little bitch there.
It was really interesting after he's locked in the room because he and his mother are saying he tells his mother what he thinks of Moraine, and she replies with what she thinks of Moraine, and they're two completely conflicting points that are equally correct,
right, right.
which
He's
I
not
thought was
wrong.
very interesting. Like everything Barthanes says about how she's just going to go and she doesn't really care, and she's like all this other stuff. Like, well, yeah, he's right. And then Anvir says she doesn't even disagree with him, but she also says she knows the right thing to do and how hard it is. And I thought that was very, very
I think she was saying
interesting.
that was a nice way of saying, yeah, but she's not a fucking dark friend. That's basically what she was saying. to
Yeah.
him.
But I also think like, she's like, I love the fact that he's like, don't tell the queen, and she's like, I already did, and she didn't do like she did that I think because like she knew how hard it would be, and if she didn't do it right away, she probably she might not have been able to do it. Like she didn't want to have to be like she didn't want to worry about him convincing him not to. She's like, no, you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. My son has pledged himself to the devil. And is willing to murder my sister for it. I guess he must go to jail.
Okay. I wasn't quick enough on that one. Yeah, so we move on to the main group of the episode.
Sure.
All right, so it starts with Moraine and Swan talking. Swan wants to meet Rand. And then we get the little scene with Lan and Rand outside where Rand's kind of getting him ready to go meet Swan. He lays some truth down on Rand, telling him like, dude, you can't just be protecting your friends. You got to protect the whole world now. And Rand's like, whoa, that was deep. And then Lan's like, whatever comes, face it on your feet, which is cool. And it's a line from the book. So everybody, I'm sure, cheered when they heard that.
So let's put a pin. I'll put a pin in that for later too. But
sword forms.
I love in the first scene between the two of them. Right? I think it's in the first scene where she's like, "How could you not tell me that you were stilled? I've got all these letters from you. You didn't say anything." And like, still, Moraine is so emotionally like blocked off again with reason. This is not a character assassination of Moraine. She can't go like, I tried so many times, but I couldn't, right? She can't like break that barrier down. Like, then That's what happens in this episode. She learns how to trust again, whatever. But like, she's still at this point right now where even when she's being confronted by the person that she loves with what that person feels like, oh, this is a betrayal, she can't let her know why. And I thought that was a very, very important scene that I want to highlight it. And then the land stuff is great. You find that Rand, even though he's can't fight a Murdral, at least has some actual knowledge of sword forms working appropriately.
Yes.
Right.
So
he did a move and Land knew what it was.
Yeah, the man, the what's his name, Errol from the sanitarium was not as loony as we all thought, and was actually teaching him real sword fighting techniques. So yeah, that's cool. And then Land's like, "Here, try this one." I like that, like Rand and Land, like Land doesn't seem to hate Rand anymore. Like in the whole first season, Land just didn't like Rand, and I mean with good reason, because Rand yelled at Moiraine a lot. So, but it seems like they're starting to get a little bit more friendly, or at least breaking down some of those barriers between them, which was kind of cool. Because I think I want to see Rand and Land team ups more often. So, all right. So Rand goes and meets Swan, right? I think we talked about this probably when the trailer came out or something, or when they released some photos. But the Amyrlin seat now. Does she bring that everywhere she goes? I think we talked about this. Is there like a travel Amyrlin seat that she goes out with?
Maybe every palace has like an Amyrlin seat room.
Now I feel like we did have this exact conversation.
Yeah.
Because I remember
so
you
she
saying
can, like,
that.
See people in every place she goes.
But then like other people could sit in it though, and she wouldn't want that,
they
right?
shouldn't.
That's poor form.
Yeah.
No, I know that, but like you don't
Respectful.
think some like kid or some palace servant is going to go and sneak on the Amyrlin and take a selfie
on the Amyrlin seat?
Yes. I don't think they would allow that.
Just get the sketchbook out.
It would have to be guarded like 24 hours a day. That would be part of the deal. Like they'd have to have a guard there.
It's not the real Amyrlin seat. It's just a seat that she could sit on that looks like the Amyrlin seat.
It looks exactly like it. It looks exactly like the seat. It's the same seat. That's why I think maybe they're
maybe that's just a style. Maybe that's just a style of chair in this world, man. You don't know.
Oh yeah, all the chairs.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe everyone's got a seat like that.
Maybe that's what thrones look like. You know.
Well, we know
they've seen any other thrones.
Well, we know they had spare cages like the one for Locane, so maybe they have spare Amyrlin seats around.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's what cages look like in Randland.
Giant canary cages.
Yeah. Kind of open on top.
I liked how
melt them.
I liked how Rand tried to channel and Swan. It was like so quick shield on him. Like I feel like for most of the other times we've been seeing women channel and stuff like that, it's like very slow and deliberate. And like Swan was just like,
yeah,
I loved it. I was like, this is more what it should be. And
that was great.
I think it also was it was great, like demonstration of like, yeah, you're the Dragon Reborn, but you're still a little, wet behind the ears right now. And I'm the Amyrlin. So sit down. I like that. I liked how she, flashed a little bit of her power in front of him.
Yeah, and I think Jen mentioned it in her recap, right? But like we had talked about like his one lesson with Loghain. He's like, all right, there's no other time. That's good enough. And like we're like, what? And then like at least this episode's like, no, it's not good enough. He doesn't know how to do a goddamn thing, right? And like she points it out directly later on in dialogues, like he's just as ready as he was before you found him. Like he's just a guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so like this is when stuff starts getting interesting, right? Moiraine and Land come into the room. They see that he's channeled. Moiraine and Swan start having a conversation, and Swan's kind of just like, you know what? We're not doing it this way anymore. I know we've been planning this for 20 years, but I've changed my mind. We're gonna do what the White Tower law says we're supposed to do, and kind of keep him caged and shielded, and we'll use him as we see fit.
She pulls a Darth Vader on Land, right? Land's like, this isn't what we agreed to. Like, he gives her the Lando line. Like, it's like...
So, on the show, is Swan going to be like, hey, we just found this guy? Or is she going to... Was her intention to say, we found him... we figured out that he was the Dragon Reborn a year ago and never told anybody?
No, I think it's more like we found the Dragon Reborn.
We just found him right
period.
now. We never kept the secret from anyone.
That's it.
Yeah, just don't talk about time. Just we found the Dragon Reborn. That's it.
Yeah, she was going to have him declare himself.
If there's one thing people in this show shouldn't be hung up on, it's when things happened.
Right.
Yes.
When'd you find him? Here he is. Like that's there you go.
Now, how did everyone feel about Siuan basically saying, like, Moiraine, you failed your part of the bargain? Meanwhile, she had the nerve to say that to Moiraine. Meanwhile, she was supposed to be drumming up support for the White Tower to support him. And all we've heard about from Aes Sedai is that, like, no, most of them don't like her, and Liandrin's drumming up a lot of opposition to her. So she has the nerve to say that when she didn't do her job.
That's what I'm saying. They should have switched jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
They took the wrong jobs.
Siuan
should have gone looking for the dragon, and Moiraine should have stayed and been a politician.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think Brennan's right.
Moiraine to go to the Eye of the World.
Yes, she told.
She just found out that Rand was the Dragon Reborn. Went there like a day or two later. A Forsaken was there. She immediately got stilled and then shielded and then Rand left. So, like, what was Moiraine supposed to do?
I want to be clear on this, right? Like, one, Moiraine does tell her, like, doesn't say, like, you failed, but said, like, does also call her out. Like, you're supposed to do this. That's not what happened. But, we were having this conversation on our Discord server over the course of the day. Rand left. That's the problem. No matter whether she was stilled or not, she should never have left Rand, let Rand go by himself. The fact that she did that is the failure. He's been wasted the last 6 months from Siuan's point of view. He's learned nothing, done nothing. But Rand's just like, well, I'll just put him in the same giant city with the last guy who can channel. He'll figure it out.
I want to stop you there, man. He did sleep with a Forsaken for a few months, so.
I mean, I'm not saying this. I'm saying it from Siuan's point of view. Like, that's a huge achievement. But
it's a notch in his belt. Big old notch.
But I think like
they both screwed up.
Yeah.
Right. But I want to be clear, like that's the failure. It's not like she's not blaming her for being stilled. She's blaming her for letting Rand out of her sight. Yeah. Rand needs to be guided. Rand needs to be like molded, and she didn't do that. And I think that's fair to say that. Like,
no, I know, but I'm saying that's what is it, the pot calling the kettle black.
It is hypocrisy. Yeah, it's 100% hypocrisy.
That's what I'm saying.
This episode is the first time that and maybe I should have realized this earlier, but the Aes Sedai are really giving off prequel era Jedi Order energy. Like you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're just screwing up left and right. And maybe that's why everything's going to shit.
Sorry, I was going to let you finish, Brennan.
But you froze.
No,
I thought you froze. That was amazing.
I do that.
That was incredible.
I started to talk, but then I realized you weren't finished, so I stopped.
No, I was just petering out. I didn't really have anything else.
Okay, sorry, I drew attention to it. Doesn't Siuan
Let's keep talking about it. Maybe it'll get better.
Doesn't Siuan say something to the effect like, "Can you imagine if one of the Forsaken got to him?"
Yeah.
Yes.
I wrote down funny story.
Yeah.
That would be like wild.
Oh God! Thankfully that didn't happen.
Wow. I mean, like, if he was like all up in one, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So like, none of the other Aes Sedai know about Lanfear until she's like there. Like,
no,
they even know?
No clue except for Alanna.
Alana's it.
Alana's
no,
the only one.
like they're on the roof putting out the fire, but they don't know how the fire started.
No, they know Lanfear's there then.
How do they know that?
Somebody says does somebody say Lanfear?
Because I think she's blowing shit up in public. I think like people are like, oh, like it's, and Alana's there. Alana's with them. She's gonna go, it's Lanfear. She's back.
No, she wasn't up there on the roof with them.
No, but she's in the city.
Yeah.
I know. We just don't get a moment where like Siuan finds out about Lanfear.
Yeah, there's no questioning of what's going on.
Yeah,
just like,
we do.
Later. Yeah, that's later. At this point, though,
if that's the first time, right?
At this point, there's just Aes Sedai like standing on top of the thing like, oh, there's shit blowing up in the city. We're not going to talk about what's happening. We'll just
Also-
make it rain.
Also, like,
Look, if I've
they're
learned,
having a pretty vocal conversation about, like, I was going to farm to rescue grain from a Shamael, like, right in front of Leane.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
they're saying all this shit in the cell, and Leane's sitting right there.
Yes.
I mean, she doesn't leave to tell Swan, but I'm like, I guess we don't care anymore by, like, who knows about.
And Swan dismissed her, right? When
Shit.
Rand came in.
the
and-
cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
No,
I mean, she's planning
She
on.
knows about, like, the Forsaken, and he's just, like, talking, oh, my buddy Ishamael kidnapped Egwene, and, like.
Yeah, even in the scene before that, when Lan and Rand are talking outside before he goes to talk to Swan, like Rand's just like openly yelling about him being the Dragon Reborn in the palace.
There's a servant, like, right in the background.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You're the what? You're the who what now?
Yeah.
I think the time for subtlety is past.
Nobody
Yes.
cares who overhears. And,
Nobody cares
and
anymore.
Swan says she's gonna declare him the Dragon Reborn as soon as the Queen gets back anyway. So it doesn't matter that Leane knows. I think at this point, I don't think Rand cares anymore. I guess that people know.
No, I'm sure he does.
Even
He
though
does
he's
it,
been
And
hiding
the-
the whole time.
Well, he's hiding to protect the people he cares about.
Yeah.
He's not like, I think that Rand is like, if someone were to ask him, hey, should we keep the fact that the Forsaken are free again a secret? He would go, no.
No, no, of course not.
Like, that's
And I'm sure
people
Moraine
should know.
I'm sure Moraine said something too. We just didn't see it on screen. Yeah. So we got. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
No,
I was
it's
gonna
about
move-
later. It's
I was gonna
about like
move.
what's the
Right.
plan? What does he think Lanfear is going to do to get him out?
Well, this is what I was.
That-
This is what I wanted to get to. Right. So right, we come to the point where like, Rand's shielded. We're stuck here, right? We're trapped. We can't get out of here. And like they come up with the idea of like, well, let me go to sleep and see. Lanfear I could probably convince her to help us. And Moraine, I think, right, clearly knows that like she's kind of insinuating like this is what we got to do, which is bonkers.
I think it's Rand's
Yeah.
idea. Rand's like, you know who probably wouldn't like me being trapped
Yeah.
in here?
Yeah.
Like Rand's starting to get right. I just take a pause. The name of this episode is dae'mar, right? Which is the old tongue for the game of houses. It's like the political game. It's everyone playing games with each other. It's something that
Never
is
said
very,
once in the
very
episode.
No, I'm explaining
Yeah.
it for Brendan.
Yeah. No, I'm saying
and
it.
anybody else. Yeah, it's never explained what it is. I don't know if it's said in a different episode. I think it is.
I think.
But
I
yeah, it's-
think this show is not allowed to use the words game and
Yeah, they're not.
of in that
Yeah.
order at any point
Right.
ever.
Right. So it's only dae'mar, right? But like it is about political maneuvering, secret plans, everyone's working with each other. And like Rand for the first time in this episode is like, I want to play this game too. And like this is like, all right. Like and
Poorly.
you also gotta think like, who does he trust? Who does he trust? Like the two people in the room with him. He doesn't care about Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Like he didn't like them before the series started.
Yeah.
Right. So like fuck him. Like I know somebody who can get us out.
No, but like he
She
like
kills,
wants her to kill like a bunch of people and like destroy property. I don't think that he. I don't want to know what his thought process was.
property. That's the real. That's Jen's like. Wait
Well,
a second.
sometimes
I
like you
draw
see
the
people
line at
flying through
destroying
the air, and
property.
like I'm not quite sure if they're dead. Like they
Yeah.
might just be
Oh,
like
people were clearly dying. Yes.
Yeah, some of them
unleashed.
were,
Rand unleashed a Forsaken on the city to
Right.
save his own
I-
ass,
I think that if again, whatever,
and Moraine
I don't think-
sanctioned it.
I don't think he thought she was gonna start at the front.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
he thought like she would come in and kill some Aes Sedai
Right.
and then he'd get out. Like
Oh
Right.
man, yeah.
And fuck them, they
Moraine
shielded
was
me.
like, "Yeah, let's do that." Moraine's like, "Yeah, it's good. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to stop you."
So we'll get like well you're here now. So like I'm gonna say there were two things in this show that bothered me. Like really, I had a hard time like with. One was the Matt thing. Like it didn't land right with me. But that's minor, right? At the end of this episode, Moraine and Lan are just like, yeah, let's go just travel with Lanfear in the ways. That's cool. Like that
But-
that was
doesn't
one
make
of the,
any sense.
That was one of my pauses
What's
where I said,
Moraine's choice in that moment?
Well, wait.
If she doesn't go,
Wait.
Lanfear kills her.
Let's wait. I want to make
Right?
sure. Yeah,
Sorry.
let's.
Sorry.
I mean, there's no
there.
choice there.
We'll get to it. We
Okay.
got a couple of other things.
That's not a
talk about.
spoiler.
No. I mean, I don't want to jump to the end. There's some other stuff.
No, we jumped.
Oh, I'm
way
sorry.
ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. When Joe brought it up, I didn't want to like. I'm like, well, I'm going to talk about that in 5 minutes.
I didn't bring that up.
You,
I brought up.
You brought up the fact that like, why is Moraine okay with working with Lanfear?
Okay.
No. I didn't say why. I didn't say why. I said I was shocked. I was more shocked about it.
Right.
Oh yeah. So we get Yasuka appears in this episode. I'm loving Yasuka. I'm glad that she's coming. We're seeing her in more episodes. She brings Perrin the Ogier map, right? And they're trying to find a Waygate. That's where Tomas is going, and Yvonne follows because he doesn't trust him. Alana gets outvoted by her warders. That must suck for her because I'm sure it happens a lot. Lan and Moraine, right? They start.
This was such a weird.
Yeah.
This was like, not necessarily in a bad way. I felt like I shouldn't be seeing this conversation.
It was very personal.
He's like,
I should not be privy to this.
Did you ever think
it's like
about
watching
killing yourself? Right. That's like the question. And this is Lan, investigator Lan trying to solve.
But now Lan being so happy about that, I feel like takes a different, because maybe he thinks she didn't think of that really because she wasn't stilled.
Yes.
Still did.
Yeah.
So
he's putting it.
Yeah. He's like, good. And he smiles like, this is another piece of my puzzle. Not like, oh, I'm just happy that you didn't want to think about killing yourself. I'm happy because those thoughts never entered your mind because you think it's because this was such an important mission. But in reality, it's because you actually aren't stilled.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay. This is Lan starting to put pieces together. And
yes.
We'll talk about more about that later. But
we don't have a lot of later left. We better hurry up.
I know. So it's interesting here, right? There's the Moraine can't do it alone theme coming up again, which is kind of like parallel to Rand, right? We talked, I think, a little bit about this last week, how like they're on a similar journey, Moraine and Rand. They want to just be alone and do everything by themselves because Moraine's motives, I think she feels, I don't know if she doesn't want to hurt the ones that she cares about, or she's just doing it because she's just feeling. I think Brendan, you laid it all out there. I think last week, but anyway, they're in a similar position. Kind of both want to try to do it all by themselves, and they can't. That's all I'm going to say.
I think the three of them. I think Lan, Moraine, and Rand are all at some point in the season in similar headspace.
Yeah. So Lan then goes and visits Logain. I love the when you look at Moraine, what do you see? The response that Logain's like a broken woman who's like
so weird.
I always like, do you think you helped in prison? Like, why do you think I would give you an answer to your question? Sorry, again.
Does anyone know what the key is for?
To get out of there.
Get out.
But then he takes it and he says, "I'll give it back to you in the tower or something."
Right, because it'll be useless there because.
Right. Okay. I was like, is this a magic key like that opens every door?
No.
Like I don't understand.
He's like,
what the point of this key is. He's like, oh, I'm actually not giving it to you. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, you killed two of my friends.
He was just lying to him.
Okay, that's fine. I was just
warders can lie.
I didn't put it in my recap because I actually was very confused about the key.
Land was being good cop and bad cop.
Okay.
And that's it.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
That
I just loved Logain's response though, like just being a jerk off, like, well, it's giving like his take on Moraine as a person.
Also,
I'd ask you to play, but this is a gentleman's game.
Yeah.
the way Logain is describing the tied off weaves by like manipulating his bathrobe and hunching in on himself, it was the creepiest shit.
It's like
yeah. It was just like this guy is horrifyingly insane. This guy. He is so far out of his mind. It was great.
It was really good.
I want to take a second. Like when he in the first season, in the few episodes that he's in, we like sung his praises. Like we were so glad that they got this guy. He was so good in this. It's obviously completely different. He's so good in this show.
TM.
Like I feel like. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I feel like he probably only filmed for like 3 days.
I think he did.
You
I think
know?
he shot all of his scenes at once.
Yeah, they're all in the same spot.
It was all probably shot in a couple
He walks
of
like 4 feet, but like, I'm watching the scene. I'm like, my God, like this guy, he's just killing this part. It's so great. I want to, and like, I'm like,
fun.
and they're like, oh, they're bringing him back to the tower. Great, he's gonna do more crazy shit with other people next season. Like.
Yeah. That answers a question for us too for later.
Yeah.
So right, we learn that Moraine's not. This is where we learn that Moraine's not stilled. Right? He says no. There's weaves on her, tied in a knot.
Yeah.
So okay. So sorry. We go back to the palace where Perrin shows up, says a bunch of clever things that aren't lies, and tricks Elayne into leaving. And then frees Rand. Yep. So I have a question. Did Moraine know that Perrin was going to come and do this?
I don't know. No is a strong word. I think when she saw Perrin, she's like, we're out of here.
No. I mean, do you think this was planned that Perrin was going to come and do this?
No.
Okay, good.
No, because then I don't think they would have been like, they would have activated Lanfear.
Yes, good. Yeah. Thank you.
Don't pull the Lanfear card.
Activated Lanfear. I'm very glad because if she knew that this was going to happen, that's going even further to like, what the fuck are you doing?
No.
Unless it's like all part of the same plan where it's like Lanfear's here, Elayne, you got to go do this. I'll stay here and then I'll free them and then you guys go while this is happening.
I just want to play. She doesn't know who's there. She was in her house and Moraine was in her house and got told, the Aberlin's in town, you've got to go see her. She didn't see the retinue pull up. She doesn't know which Aes Sedai are even in the city.
She's got eyes and ears in the city. We learned that she still has them in the city.
No, but I mean, you don't think Lanfear distracted everybody else?
Yeah, no, I'm saying she didn't know that Perrin was coming. Like, she didn't know that Perrin was there. There's no scene before that where they're talking, right?
But I'm saying not a plan with Moraine. Right. Well, actually, no, it would have to be with Moraine. I don't know. Forget it.
And Perrin and Alanna aren't working together either because Alana's team
well, they are
trust
now. I think that when Yvonne, if Yvonne's following Tomas to find the Waygate, then a conversation happened there because the next time we see them, everybody's in a group together and everybody trusts each other.
Team good guy, let's go.
Yeah.
So wait, you just brought up something very interesting. Moraine doesn't know Perrin's there. Then why is Perrin looking for a Waygate?
She knows that Moraine is there.
Yeah, Perrin knows Moraine's there.
But why does she? So
it's a square in the rectangle.
So she's already plotting. Like I'm gonna break out Moraine and
Perrin knows where they're gonna go. But here's a way to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, Perrin knows what she's doing.
Then Moraine says we're gonna go to Farm. Perrin doesn't know where they're going.
Right. Yeah, Perrin doesn't
get them out.
Right. Perrin doesn't know where they're.
Perrin's resourceful. She's one step ahead of everybody. Let's go.
Yes. So I think Moraine knows that all those Aes Sedai were there. Like when there's obviously time between when her sister comes and says the Armelin is here and wants to see you, than when she goes there. I'm sure she either found out who's there or ran, when she was going to the palace, probably ran into some of the other Aes Sedai and had quick conversations. So
blocking them.
Yeah. So I don't think that's really a big problem at all. So we get right. So then they all. This is also one of my favorite parts. They get free and like Perrin's there with Tomas and Alana's there with the warders and Alana's like, you don't have to do this alone anymore. And then she's like, all right, go quickly because we're not coming with you. Like I literally thought when she showed up and
they were
said,
all gonna go.
Yeah, I literally thought when she showed up and said you're not alone anymore that I was like, oh, they're gonna go with them. That's awesome. And then they're like, no. I was just saying that in a metaphorical, spiritual sense.
Like,
you're not
have to keep secrets
alone.
From everybody where we know about it, we can help you. Not today.
Right.
Another time.
They tricked me there because I literally thought that she was kidding. I was like, oh, cool, they're going with them. No, sorry. That was just, emotionally, you're not alone. I'm still not going with you.
You are not alone.
So they find the Waygate. Land's like, Rand.
Stop.
I'm sorry. Moraine's like, okay, Rand, you got to open up the, because I can't channel. Rand's like, no, you're going to do it, Moraine, because I figured out all of this shit and I'm a freaking water. Yet I learned all of this stuff and know all about the weaves because I know studying. I don't know.
Moraine was reading books for 5 months at Varen's house and Lan figured this out through context clues somehow.
Well, I think Lan had taken out all the books that Moraine really needed to read.
Well, Moraine wasn't reading about.
I know.
She's not reading about being stilled. She's still.
I know. But yeah, this is a bizarre part for me, and I think again we'll talk more about this.
Every clue to figure it out is said to Lan in his presence over the course of the season. He gets told every piece of information that he needs to figure it out. Mm-hmm. He figures it out over Moraine because Moraine's not thinking it's an even thing to think about. Right. He's trying to fix this problem. She's trying to not move past the problem.
It's not.
So I think
it's not the fact that he figures out she's not still. It's the fact that he knows how to fix it.
Well, I don't know if he knows how to fix it. He's like,
he does. He says the weave. He literally says, there's a knot. You can't untie it. You're gonna need to cut it. How does he know that?
I don't know if he knows that's gonna work. Look,
did Loghain? Did we miss at the end of the conversation with Loghain?
He says that. Then he looks at Moraine. Moraine looks at him, and he nods, and she's like, and then she goes back to him. And she goes, "Okay, I trust you."
I don't know why.
No, my point is they're looking at to me. I saw that, and I'm like, he's gonna have to cut it. They don't know that that's gonna work. They know that that's the only option.
Why can't he try to untie it?
No, he says
he does not have that kind of finesse. He doesn't have that kind of fine control.
He's got the knife, the fire knife like this.
How does Lan know this though? Why would Lan say, well, I don't think you're going to be able to untie it, Rand. But I've never seen anybody weave. I can't see the weaves. I can't feel them.
He doesn't even know what it looks like.
But I know that you can't untie it. You're going to have to cut it.
All right. But okay, so if there's... Rand does not have any sort of fine control over the power yet. Rand is effectively trying to untie a knot with mittens on. So Lan gives him scissors. Right. You're not going to be able to untie it because you can't untie anything with the level of control that you have over what you need to do. So just do it with not quite brute force, but somewhere between brute force and finesse.
Right.
Lan doesn't. Sorry. Yeah, Lan doesn't know that that's going to work, but he's pretty sure it will, and he's willing to take the chance. And so is Moraine.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to take a step back from the events of this episode to talk about the structure of shows. Episode 7 is the climax, the penultimate episode of a series of a season is a climax episode. The climax is not necessarily the action climax, although sometimes it is. It's the climax of the plot, the main theme of the season. The main theme of the season is trust and being able to do your duty. This is Moraine resolving that and saying
well, that's
I finally understand.
That's a bigger problem. That's a bigger problem. Literally, she's been a shit person to him the whole season. He figures out that she's shielded and how to unshield him, and he's like, and it's all like, okay, you're all good now. We're all good now because you figured out how to fix it, fix me.
So Lan doesn't need an apology. He's moved past that in the last episode, right? That was why I wanted to highlight that in the last episode. It was important for Lan. Lan had his character turn then when he's like, this is not the right way to do things. We need to be open and honest with people. He doesn't need an apology.
I'm not saying he needs one. I'm saying he deserves one. And I'm hoping there's that, I think it's a scene from the trailer, the two of them on the beach and their heads are together and they're sharing an intimate moment. I'm hoping that's Moraine's going to apologize to him.
Yes. Well, we'll see, but and Rand has already shown that he trusts Moraine. Immediately, she shows up after 6 months, and he's like, "That's Lanfear. I can't lie. Let's run." He's like, "Okay." So now this is her having character growth and saying, I can trust people.
I can trust again because I have power. Well,
she trusts first, and then she gets the power.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Lan apologized. Lan apologized to her.
Yeah, but that was like I'm sorry, I'm great. Like that was the apology.
He said, I'm sorry. He said, I'm sorry. He said, I'm sorry, I failed you.
No, he said, that was wrong. This is like, I'm sorry, it took me so long to figure this out. But
no, he says, I'm sorry, I failed you. Isn't that what he says in the scene?
No, he said, I'm sorry it took me so long.
You masked our bond, and I couldn't follow you, and you got shielded, and then I actually am the one who figured it out. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't like Lan apologizing.
He's not. I feel like. I do feel like that's like I'm sorry it took me so long to figure out the problem. It was me, but it did take me longer than I usually figure these things out quicker. Like I don't think that was like I don't think that was a remorseful apology.
I think it was. I'm sorry I figured out the thing I had no business figuring out.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm great, but hey, you can channel again. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. That didn't sit well with me. That whole part with like him apologizing and her not. But I'm hoping we'll get a moment in the next episode. So Swan shows up. She attacks Lan, right? That's an attack on she attacks Lan.
Oh yeah.
No, he
Lan,
moves.
She shields Lan and she knocks Lan over.
How's she attacking him? She's supposed to be under the 3-0. She's not supposed to be able to hurt someone unless it's in the defense of her life, the life of her warder.
He moves towards her.
He does not.
He moves towards her.
He turns.
That's all it takes. He's a warder.
She thinks that Lan is going to kill her.
She thinks that Lan is going to.
Machine.
She thinks that Lan is going to kill her.
She didn't think about that.
All right.
She just came in and she didn't even attack Moiraine. She came and shielded. She literally came, shielded Rand, smashed Lan against the wall.
I want to look at this from her point of view.
Yeah, I know. Anyone can make themselves think that they want that they're in danger.
No. Looking from the point of view,
it's the last resort.
Broke out of prison and are escaping.
But she knows why. Girlfriend. She knows exactly why they're doing it, though.
And her friend.
Like Moiraine said it flat to her face before that in the earlier scenes.
And like Moiraine, her point of view,
and it's the last. It's like a last. It's right. It's something in the wording. It's like as a last resort, you can use the power as a weapon in defense of your life. Like I don't know. That's stretching it too much for me. That's all I'm saying. I thought that it was stretched a bit.
And it's also like. I don't know about any of that.
Dana says I should let you talk. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I think I'm sorry. Thank you, Dana. Like one, from her point of view, they're renegade. Like she doesn't know what's going on, who they are, why they're doing this. It's insane.
She knows exactly what they're doing.
No, it's like okay, yeah, like. Yeah, she knows they've lost their goddamn minds. That's why they're doing it.
No,
and again, I want to be crystal clear. He is a warder. He's not only a warder, he's apparently the best warder. He's death on wheels. Like, if she gives him 2 seconds, that's more than enough time.
So the rationale is just anytime Lan's in a room, an Aes Sedai can attack him just because he's so deadly. His presence is so deadly.
And I want to be clear, like, she's not attacking him. She's preventing him. She's preventing him from attacking her, and that is the kind of hair splitting that I think is important.
No. She does harm to him. That's an attack.
She could have put up a wall.
She could have wrapped him in weaves of hair.
Wrapped him in air.
She hit him.
Wrapped him in air.
We've seen them wrap them in air multiple times.
No. I want to be clear, right? Remember, Aes Sedai cannot tie off weaves. She can't wrap him in air.
Yeah,
she needs to use the.
She can hold it. She can wrap him in air and hold it. We saw it happened 3 other times this season.
But she's already holding a shield on Rand. That's an active weave that she's holding. And she may need to use the power against Moiraine, who has gone crazy in her mind.
Oh my God, Tom. You would be a terrible Aes Sedai. You'd be killing people left and right. Be like, wait, that person, he's scary. Kill him.
Yes, well, I would be a terrible Aes Sedai for many reasons.
Kill him.
That's one of them.
Attack everybody.
I don't think...
Brendan, go get your book out, Brendan.
I was just whispering to him to get his book.
Sorry. Where was that?
Swan's being stubborn and foolish, and I know Tom, you don't think she's foolish because you think they're all dark friends.
I don't think
she
that
thinks that.
I don't think that she's
Neither do I.
people. Okay, let me put it this way. I've seen a lot of people be like, "Oh, she's under compulsion." They mentioned compulsion earlier this season. There's no way that she would act like this. I'm like, there's every way that she would act like this. She's the Aberlin seat, as she's the Pope of the Aes Sedai, as Brendan said it.
Pope Sedai.
And she's made a clear, concrete edict about this is what is happening. And then her lover and best friend goes, I'm going to collude with other Aes Sedai to break this guy out of prison and take him who knows where.
But what I'm saying is that it's okay. Go ahead. Sorry, Brendan.
No, I think something we need to keep in mind, and I think is easy to forget, is that all of these people think the world is going to end tomorrow,
right?
Unless they do something. Everyone in this story, with the possible exception of Perrin, who's just like taking a walk, is operating under.
Perrin's living the life.
Perrin's just,
And then the first hot ninja says, the second hot ninja really wants to bang me. I can't believe it, but it's true.
So like,
great time. No, he's no longer sad about his wife.
It's not like it's not like they're just a bunch of people having a mild disagreement over dinner.
Like
it's the world.
It's not like that one.
Great callback, Jen.
Yeah, like what? Pick a lane, guys. Pick
my lane.
Either everyone's too upset or they're not upset enough. Just Jesus.
I need
Christ.
just the right amount of upset. I don't care that anybody's upset in this scene. Everybody should be fucking really upset in this scene. But all I'm saying is like, Moiraine and Swan had this conversation. Like Moiraine is like, Swan's like, well, we're not going to do it the way we plan on doing it anymore. I'm going to do it my way. And Moraine's like, no, we can't do it that way. And then they're surprised that each other continue to do what they say they were going to do.
The only thing I could think is that, like, when Swan walks up, she's channeling.
Yes, the lie,
so
right?
immediately her first thought is, oh, everything you've said to me now is a lie.
Yeah, that's
and
huge.
now that's, I think, more of a reason that she could, like, at
That's
least
true.
not lock him out, just push him down and get him out of the equation, because, and then Marion's like, no, I didn't lie, but like, they don't talk that out. That's like, as soon as she walks up, it's like, oh, what
That's
else
true.
is a lie that you've just told me?
And
I don't trust you anymore now.
And good Aes Sedai cannot
lie. Yes, we talked about that yesterday when I was on Amalkia Talks. They pointed out, like, the first thing she says is she sees Moiraine stilling. Moiraine just said she was channeling. Moiraine just said she was stilled. She says, you lied to me. So yeah,
and you all lied. So Lan was the one who came to her and said she was stilled.
Yes. So they must
Lan
be dark
also
friends.
Liar, dark friend, done.
And now you're hanging out with Lanfear. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Lanfear.
Lanfear's not there yet.
No, but I said, and then
I know Lanfear's not there yet because I have a note. This is a word for word note on this scene. Isn't a fucking monster destroying the? Oh, there she is. Because like literally while I'm writing, like isn't Lanfear like? Oh, she just walked in. Like this power I didn't even know I had. Just here she is.
Summon Lanfear.
You and Rand, man, both.
Yeah, so I think that could be in the defense of why she attacked Lan, because she thinks
I just changed my mind right in the middle of this conversation. So
they're dark friends, or yeah. So yeah, this is a complicated scene, and I mean it's obviously very different than the opening scene of the episode, and we get the closing scene at a big juxtaposition there. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with the two of these now. Like, is this,
forcible, whatever she did to her it's going to take a lot to come back from that. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, to remove autonomy from someone's body.
And Moiraine leaving her on the ground. That's another, like, how injured is she?
Is
she laying there because she's like scared to get up, or can she literally not move because she's like,
I think she's hurt
very,
pretty
very
bad.
injured.
But there's Aes Sedai there. They'll help her. She'll be fine.
If they find her. I'm just saying, like, that's
both
of
they
them
will.
have been like pretty heavily betrayed in this scene. So I don't Yeah, and Moraine walks off with Lanfear.
Yeah. Lanfear shows
Pretty
up.
into Swan's view, pretty easily. Even though I said before, like Moraine doesn't have any good. If she doesn't go, like Lanfear is gonna kill her.
Yeah, but like Moraine doesn't look like she's struggling with the decision.
No, she's going there. They're walking in together. It's like they just happen to be getting on the same bus. Like Moraine has to go to farm. Lanfear's there. What am I gonna do? Like wait until Lanfear leaves and then go after her? Like she can't.
Well, I mean, Swan really screwed up the whole plan, right? I mean, they wanted to get out of there before Lanfear showed up, I think, right? Because I mean, not that Lanfear.
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't think they really cared about like what was like. There's no even mention of like Lanfear. Like you just made Lanfear blow all this shit up, and now you're like gonna just leave. And
that was the plan. Lanfear? I think they wanted to leave get Lanfear out of there
with everyone.
Yes, they wanted to get out of there before the other Aes Sedai were taking care of that, and they were like, "Let's get out of here before Lanfear shows up." Swan shows up, delays everything, and then Lanfear shows up, and it would have been funny if they all went like, now Lanfear's here."
Like Moraine does try and immediately go, "Swan, don't do that." Like it's
right.
She's gonna own you
just as easily as Swan just dealt with Rand. Lanfear dealt with Swan.
It's funny because I feel like Swan probably thinks like everyone's getting behind her and like to fight Lanfear, like nobody else is. She's like the only one fighting Lanfear.
Right.
Like, hey, we're all gonna fight this Forsaken together, right, guys?
Well, no. They all want to take Rand out of there to Falm, and she's the only one who doesn't want to do that. So
right, I know. It's just really bad.
It is bad. It's sad.
Yeah, well, it's not so bad.
I don't think.
No, it's bad in a good way. Like
not
a bad show. It's just like bad for the characters.
Just when Moraine repairs her relationship with Lan.
Right. This is like gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. So it's TV, so I think it happened. But yeah, this doesn't seem like a good conversation will sort this out.
No, a whole nother season of Moraine and Swan now, maybe, just like Moraine and Lan in this one. All right, do you wanna? Oh, we got our predictions, right? Talk about our previous predictions.
Oh yeah.
Do you have them, Brendan?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Let's do our ratings. I'm curious as to ratings for everybody on this one. Brendan, you'll go last for the ratings.
Joe,
I don't remember.
I have here Damane Stockholm Syndrome. I don't know what that... we were talking about the blonde one who's sad and she didn't do anything.
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah,
I said they were going to free her.
I said...
Yeah.
Oh.
I said Egwene contacted Loyal through the tree somehow. That didn't appear to happen. Jen predicted that Perrin and Avienda arrive in Falm. We never actually saw them enter Falm, so I'm saying no. Sorry.
Wow.
They saw Falm.
And Tom said Rand tells Lan about Matt, which absolutely didn't happen.
No, so 4-0 is good.
The entire time they're there, Rand never brings Matt up, never thinks of him once.
Matt doesn't matter. He just like at this point in the story, Matt doesn't really.
All right, so prediction for next episode: Matt's gonna do something redemptive, if that's a word.
Okay.
It is.
And I'm not gonna. I know exactly what it is, and I'm not gonna say it, so because I don't want to spoil anything.
I think you know what it is.
Oh, I know what it is, baby.
You?
I know what it is, baby.
But do you know?
He's gonna stab someone else's foot. Think about that. All right. Prediction for next episode. Something that I'm not fairly certain will happen because of what happens in the books. I'm going to say that my prediction for next episode is that Lanfear takes Rand out of the ways and leaves Moraine and Lan in the ways, and they get separated in the ways.
Okay, cool. I like that one.
Lanfear hip checks Moraine off the edge of the ways.
Is that your prediction?
No. No. My prediction is that Ishamael caresses someone's face.
That's just saying that people will talk.
It's just like saying there's going to be a conversation.
I have another prediction, but it's not based on show knowledge, so I can't say it. But I'll tell you guys later.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, Brendan. Did you?
No, Brennan's got to say his.
My prediction: a fourth sexy ninja. No.
5 sexy ninjas. Just when you thought that was enough, a sixth
sexy ninja comes out of nowhere.
6 Sexy Ninjas is the best name for that letter. That letter.
6 sexy ninjas. That's a cool.
My prediction for next week is we are not going to have to worry about what's going on with Swan in season 3.
Oh boy.
Swan is boned.
Oh.
And I think
dead?
Oh.
I think we're about to see the last of Swan.
Oh boy.
Nice.
All right.
Whose hand?
All of them.
Oh,
Whose
okay.
hands?
I see what you're saying. All right, so let's do ratings for this episode. I'm gonna tell you something. So
something.
while I did stop many times in this episode and go like, "What the fuck is going on?" I will say this, Brendan. Like 99% of the stuff in this episode does not happen in the books. It's very off book this episode. But I found myself enjoying it because I didn't know what was going to happen next. And I didn't know what was going to make me go bonkers next time. So I kind of enjoyed this episode. I don't know why. I feel like I shouldn't enjoy it, and I feel kind of guilty for enjoying this episode. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 4 just because it's so bonkers.
Okay.
I am also going to give it a 4. There was a couple of, like you said, it was weird. It was kind of all over the place, but I still really liked it.
It was fun.
I really I didn't like it as much as some of the other ones, but still thought it was a pretty good episode of TV. So 4.
Right. I guess I'm next because you said Brendan's last.
Mm-hmm.
This is my least favorite episode of the season. By a fair amount. That being said, I still think it was better than pretty much almost every episode of season 1. But I really had a problem understanding why Moraine and Lamb were just like, yeah, we're just gonna go with Lamb. That's cool. Like we're all friends now. Like that really, it didn't sit right with me at all. That they were just like, okay, 3.75. I still thought it was a good episode. It just was my least favorite.
All right, Brendan.
I'm gonna say 4.5. I really liked it. I thought it was.
I thought you were gonna like it.
I thought, much like Joe said, it was just so bonkers that there's like stuff we didn't even talk about, like Lanfear practically doing a musical number.
That part was great.
Through the city, blowing it up. Just it was amazing. Like and. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was the complete opposite of last week, where like I said, I did not enjoy the experience of watching the episode at all. This one was like, well, this show's just a hoot. Like,
I think
this is just top to bottom, just a fun hour of television.
All right.
I really liked it.
Awesome. I had a feeling you were gonna like it. I just watched. I had a feeling that non-book readers probably really enjoyed this episode just because it was so fun and bonkers and there was so much shit going on.
I think this episode does set up the final episode of the season as in a really good place. I'm very excited to see what the last episode of the season holds.
One more episode, everyone.
Yeah, me too.
Brendan, thank you as always for joining us.
All right, guys. Thank you as always for having me.
We'll see you next week.
Bye,
everybody.
Bye.
All right, we are back for the spoiler portion of the episode. I can't believe we've already been talking for 2 hours and we're just getting into the spoiler stuff.
It was a big episode.
It was a big episode, and we didn't even linger too much on certain things, which we usually do. Okay. I have some quick things I just want to say, nothing that we really need to discuss, just oh, cool. We got a fish metaphor from Swan, right? She says, sure as Ro makes fish. I had a question about her whole thing about the Tower Law, what the Tower Law says they should do to the dragon. Is that in the books? There's no official Tower Law on what they do with the dragon, right?
It makes what Elayne does in the books like, oh, well, she's just doing the right thing.
She's doing her job, right? She's fucking Nazi.
In the book, Swan and Moiraine let Rand go.
Yeah.
They tell him he can go do whatever he wants.
Yes.
So
But
that was
all right, so is it returning of the wheel? Remember, like, at that point, like, Moiraine hasn't abandoned him at all. Like, Swan meets him before the Eye of the World. Like, meets him. Like, that, and like, after the Eye of the World, but like, meets him right then, right? Boom. Everyone can channel. Everything's going well. Things are proceeding more or less according to plan. Here, it's 6 months have passed and everything's shitty. And like, if at the beginning of The Dragon Reborn, Rand can channel as much as he could at the end of the Eye of the World, like, that would not be good. He should learn how to do something. So I think it's a difference, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and that too, like with Swan just being like, okay, tomorrow we're just gonna tell everyone, like, that it was such a big deal to never ever tell anyone about this for 20 years, and now you're just gonna be like, all right, forget it. We'll just
Calling
change
an
it
audible.
Nah, that's it. Like, what?
I don't care what you say,
Moiraine.
So this is something I've been on for a while, just in regular conversations. I would say in the last few days, on various social media platforms or Discord or whatever. I'm 100% on the train of Swan is bad at being the Amyrlin in the books. She doesn't do a good job at all. She's really not good at it.
She's she ruffles too many feathers. Like she's
when I say
that's the problem. She's not good at managing the people and the relationship between them. She's not a political, like, too much of a political person. Although she's a great political schemer though in the books.
She's great at scheming. She's not, like, if you think about what the actual job, especially her job of being the Amyrlin is, it's what they say here in the series. She's supposed to be getting the tower and the world ready for the Dragon Reborn. She fails completely at it. Badly.
She doesn't have anybody. Like, there's no mention of her doing any of that.
Nothing. Yeah. She's awful at it. And to the point where, like, over nothing, like, the book has no good. The series is giving you tons of fodder to depose her, right? She's awful at the job, really bad, visibly. She loses the Dragon Reborn. But like, the series is like, well, she kept the secret from us, we're gonna depose her, right? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but she's so bad at it. She doesn't understand. She's good at plotting, she's good at manipulating people, but that's not what her job is. Like, that's not, and she doesn't understand that, and that's why she's a bad Amyrlin in my mind. She's a worse Amyrlin in the show. She's she knows how bad a job she's doing and doesn't even realize she's doing a bad job. Like, people are right.
Wait a second.
We're done. It's like she didn't do what she was supposed to do for 20 years. Moiraine gave up her whole life to do this. Does it, makes one little mistake, like being shielded by the most powerful Forsaken, and then Swan's like, you know what, forget it. After you just made me do, like, not made me, but like, I chose to give up my life. You were supposed to be doing this. You didn't do it. I was out here searching for 20 years. And I did that, and I got him, I found him, and we have him here, and you're just gonna be like, nah, just tell everyone.
And you're the one who told me to go to the Eye of the World.
Right, you sent me there.
But I want to be clear, like, Swan doesn't think, because a lot of people are saying this, Swan doesn't say you failed because you got stilled. That's not the problem.
She brings that up, though.
She does.
Throws it in her face.
She does. But it's more along the lines like, you couldn't even tell me that, because if you told me you got stilled 6 months ago, I would have brought somebody else in. We would have brought him in then. Yeah, but you didn't. You can't control him. If he goes crazy, there's nobody around. Like, at this point, she makes it clear that One Eye Sedai could handle it because he doesn't know what he's doing. So, right? I will say with channel, but she just lets him go. In Swan's mind, like,
she doesn't let him go, though. We've already talked about this, though, in the season, right? She knew he was in Cairhien. She had eyes and ears on him. She arranged for Logain to go to Cairhien so that they could interact with each other. So while she did let him go, she still
just didn't know that his girlfriend was Lanfear.
Yes,
And-
that,
and
This
that
is
was
the
the
like,
part
from
where he
small
felt it.
piece of information that she wasn't
Yeah,
able to.
From Swan's point of view, it should have been like,
But Swan didn't
You
know
should've-
that. Swan doesn't know that though.
Right. She doesn't know
Right.
that part.
from Swan's point of view, it should have been like day 2 in the asylum. He should have been in the garden, like not 6 months in or 5 months in, however long it is,
Yeah,
that he doesn't even get a lesson from the guy.
Yeah.
Like there were things that should have been happening that weren't because Moraine was in her feelings. You know,
she's like,
from
you
Swan's
found
point
him-
of view.
Yeah, you found him 6 months ago, or I'm sorry, you found him like almost a year ago, and he's barely done any channeling and like nothing. Like there's no progress in his. He's making no progress.
Right. Like
So,
at this point,
yeah.
he shouldn't be able. But remember, like in the
She's
book,
like, we got to speed
when-
this up. I'm gonna declare
Right.
him, and we're just gonna fucking speed this up.
in the book, like when Rand meets, it's in the book, it's Swan, Moraine, and Verin are all in the room,
Yeah.
and when he leaves, they're shaking.
Yeah.
They can't, like he's so just internally powerful at that point that like it took everything they had just to keep it together.
Yeah, they don't even
Right?
talk about that. That doesn't exist in this book. There's no.
It
like,
doesn't. He's
there's
like a schlub still.
There's no Taviran presence at all in this book where people make like there's not been one comment yet about, besides someone explaining what Taviran is, there's been no comment of like, wow, how, when, like you said, exactly, he leaves the room and they're all like, oh my God, like, did you feel that? Nothing
Right.
about that at all.
No.
And I think that's something they're just not going to be doing.
I actually think that they are. I think that they are going to do that when people embrace their destiny.
Embrace your destiny. Take
I
it.
think, like,
it's yours.
I think that you're going to start to see that from Rand and probably Matt and Perrin as season 3 goes on. But I think you're going to see that from them as they start to actually fulfill the roles the pattern has for them. But as they're like, they spent this time struggling against it, they don't get anything.
So a quick little thing. We didn't talk about it in before, but right, there's the conversation between Alanna and Maxim, and I'm sorry, Maxim, you're being a little wuss. You're like worried about the last battle. You're a goddamn water. Suck it up, buddy. It just made me think like, he's not going to make it to the last battle.
I have something else that people were talking about in chat that I didn't even realize. Yvonne follows Tomas, and we never see him again. Apparently, he's not
Isn't
there
he
at the end.
No,
when Alanna
he's at the
shows-
end.
Yeah, when Alanna shows
Everybody in
up.
chat was saying he's not there,
At
but
the end-
I assumed he was there. Now I can't remember if I saw him or
I
not.
think when Alanna shows up at the end and like says to Moraine, where you don't have to do this alone, I'm pretty sure they're both there with her.
That's what I thought, but apparently not.
I don't know. We could go look at it later.
But
that was-
yeah, so like, what? I don't think that was like on purpose, but
Yeah, I thought he was
I don't know.
there.
Yeah, I thought it was there
I
too.
assumed he was there. I listed him, but now I'm like, did I just assume he was there? And I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about Lanfear just walking around the Foregate blowing shit up?
Oh, do you think I almost said this in the beginning, but
Yeah.
that Lanfear and Verin were like Lanfear sent when she said I've been told to watch him. Do you think that was like from Lanfear?
She says, I've been
Lanfear
told to watch
her
the boy.
I've been told to watch. Swan requires your power or your strength on the roof.
Yeah.
I've been told to watch the boy.
Anyone
was her
could have
second
told-
sentence.
Anyone could have told her that.
I
though.
know, but like
She could have said-
Lanfear's blowing shit up, and Verin comes in to get them out. Like maybe it was all like to get a plan between
Right.
them.
Yeah,
Possible.
I mean, I think Moraine doesn't think she's lying at all. Like, points out how clever she worded it. Like, and I don't think Moraine's picking out a lie in there. I don't think anything she said there was a lie.
No, it wasn't a lie. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, do you think the person that told her to watch him was Lanfear?
Nah,
or
it's-
Shama?
It's something about,
I
you
don't
also
think
you
so.
almost also blew up. You're like, I think
Yes.
Tomas is the one who hit Matt. I'm like,
Yes.
why would you tell me? Brendan doesn't know that
Yes, you
Tomas
did.
is bad.
I was like, oh, Jen. who's you?
Did?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
I was just like, why? No, like he was looking for the Waygate. Like I want to,
Yeah.
like,
All right.
I
yeah.
think you quickly diffused it, Tom. Yeah, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I didn't even realize I said that.
Oh,
because someone had said it in chat, and then I was
Yeah.
like, no, because that happened afterward. All right,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't even pick up on
Tomas
that.
she could have said, Tomas, tell me to go watch Rand.
Right.
So, okay, Vern, go watch Rand. And then that's it. Yeah.
Well, I've been told to watch him.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it could have been Lanfear. That works too. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
So the Matt stuff, that's kind of flicker, right?
Yeah.
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 Right. That's kind of flicker, but that's also kind of the memories that he has from other lives. Right. And I will say, I really want it to happen, But until I see a twisted redstone doorway, I don't think the Finns are going to be on the show.
I'm very concerned about this too. I feel like
Right.
Matt's hanging. They show Matt hanging already. Is that just the foreshadowing of when he's really going to hang? And then
or did he hang in another turning?
Right.
Yeah.
Everything else that he saw through there was a past life, not
like, oh, that happened in the book, but it's not happening here.
right.
I'm doubtful. Questionable. I'll be questionable right now. Yeah, I'm not doubtful yet. But I'm with Tom. Until I see a redstone twisted doorway or something like that, I don't think that. So I am doubtful that the Finns are going to be in there. I'm upgrading my condition.
I don't know, man. I'm iffy on it. I feel like they could use what just happened to him, which again, like it seems a lot like what like Aaron Rodgers did to decide to join the Jets. Like he just went into a room and like he drank some stuff and he was looking in the mirror.
He went on the darkness retreat.
Like it was just I don't know, whatever. But like they could use that to do a lot of different things, and like they've already seeded that. They've seeded that Turok has a room full of curiosities. The curiosities could have a redstone doorway, or it could have an Ashandarai in there. Like.
Yeah, he has a weapon that looks like an Ashandarai, we think, next episode. I was a little disappointed, though, at Lanfear just walking around the foregate blowing shit up. That's very uncharacteristic of Lanfear, but not show Lanfear, I guess.
No, she's definitely... Show Lanfear is a lot of style.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of pizzazz.
Right, like, she would not... like Book Lanfear's idea of, like, accessorizing is a silver belt. Like...
Yeah. She's like, oh man, I can't believe I'm 3,000 years later. I'm still doing this. I'm like, you're friggin' loving every minute of this. Like, stop.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I hate when I have to blow up an entire town. Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't see one soldier at all, by the way. Like, well, I guess it was because of
the foregate.
Yeah, that's true. It was the foregate.
So her blowing up the gate was what I thought was going to be a flashback to the
Aiel. Those were not Aiel.
You guys were like, oh, wow.
Those are definitely, we were really stuck on those people being Aiel. Because
Aiel, yeah. Well, they were in like grays and browns. Yeah. They didn't look like that. That scene didn't look the same in the show itself.
No, it did not. Certainly did not. Another thing that, so we're talking about possibly the Finns getting cut. Another thing I thought might be getting cut is they keep talking about the prophecy the dragon's going to be declared over the sky at Falm.
Bannered across the sky in fire.
Yeah. No Stone of Tear, I don't think.
No.
I think it's gone. I think it's gone 100%. I don't even know.
They showed it already, though. Was that just like for us? Like, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he'll be in Tear at some point, but he doesn't need to get Kalendor until
maybe Kalendor's in the Room of Curiosities.
I think he can go get Kalendor whenever. If he
I think it could be.
I guess you need it.
I agree with
you. Need it for the end.
Kate's saying in chat that Ruidian. I think we said that potentially it could be in Ruidian. It could be under the. It could be under the throne in Falm.
Yeah. He doesn't. He won't need if he's going right to the waist. He doesn't need Kalendor. No, you could do him pulling Kalendor out from Tear after he comes back from the waist before he goes to fight Samael, and he just goes bananas with it. Like that's the only important stuff is that it's not safe to use, and then he figures out what you need to use it for.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about. So I'm saying no Stone of Tear. I don't think there's going to be Tear and a Stone of Tear. I don't think that's going to be it. Like I mean, Tear exists, but they're not going to go there. It's not going to be.
If they do, it's not going to be the same thing. Like it's not going to be. It's just he's going to go take it. Like
yeah.
The bannered across the sky in fire thing. Like what?
We're going to see the dragon. We're finally going to see the dragon banner. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen in the sky.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, man. This is so.
There's a lot that has to happen in episode 8.
Yeah, you think so, but.
I mean, there's going to be a big battle with like a bunch of different armies.
Yeah.
Jeff from Bornhold just comes out of nowhere.
I don't know. Jeff from Bornhold might not be in this at all. We don't even know.
All right.
He could be. Yeah, he might pop up. But we don't know.
And then
there's just going to be
what we know is Egwene's going to get freed.
Egwene is freed.
There's going to be the battle.
You have to find out that the Soldam can chat. You were handing that to
I was.
Brendan
He
on
didn't
a
take it up.
silver platter. I was like, "Shut up, Tom. Let him figure it out on his own."
I
was
gave it to him. He didn't take it.
He did not take it.
I gave it to him. He didn't take it.
I think Tom did it.
He's not ready for it yet.
He's not ready.
He has to come to it on his own.
Yeah, there's going to be the
was...
fight. There's going to Rand's going to fight Turok likely and Asham. Although yeah, we're probably going to get Rand fighting Turok, Shamael. Matt's blowing the horn. Steph, I'm telling you that's happening. And then we get.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about this next week about Ingtar, but poor Ingtar is gonna.
Yeah, but like, who cares?
Exactly. Who cares? They're going to be like, you're
like,
gonna
there's no heartbroken unless
no,
I don't know. He's in a lot of episode 8. Where Massima just gonna like pop out of a Jack in the Box?
Yeah.
Like, nobody even knows what his name is.
No, he doesn't have a name.
It's like weird.
Hot
I don't know.
Arms.
But Ingtar somehow ends up in Sean, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, see, here's
I don't even know what you guys have seen. Forget it.
Here's things that have to happen. Well, you see, you got Loyal and Ingtar have to make a plan, right? Loyal's gonna tell Ingtar, hey, look, let's stop.
And the dagger, Fane and the dagger.
Right. Right. I think that's Matt. Matt gets the dagger. Whatever. Decides to use
Rand's
it or
gonna
not
fight.
I don't think
fighting Turok.
I don't think he takes the dagger.
I saw that.
Yeah, Rand fights Turok, or Rand stands off against Turok. You don't see them
off against Turok.
Right. Rand stands off against Turok. Rand probably fights Ishii, but like you have Perrin has a plan, Loyal has a plan, Nynaeve and Elayne have plans, and Rand has plans, and the Forsaken have plans. They're going to talk about them a little bit, and then they're going to do them, and that's the episode.
Yep, 100%.
And maybe you'll get your apology, but I don't think you will.
What are Moraine and Lan going to do?
They're going to touch heads at the beach, and then Lan's going to fight some Trollocs. Not Trollocs, Seanchan, sorry.
Trollocs. What is Moraine going to do? That's what, like, the biggest wild card for me is that she's here and she can channel. What is she going to do?
I don't know. She could. I don't know what she's going to do. Who knows?
Maybe
she's going to balefire Shamael and kill him like she balefires Bilal.
No, maybe she's going to run interference with Lanfear.
I can't see. Maybe I saw it as they were going to get into the, but they don't even know the horn's there. They don't even know the horn's there. They just know
only Perrin knows.
Only Perrin knows. Perrin doesn't even know. Nobody knows except for Ingtar and Loyal.
Ingtar and Loyal know it's there.
They're the only ones who know.
Oh yeah.
Matt doesn't even know that the horn is a thing that is in the world
so only
actively.
And Loyal and Fane and obviously
they're the only ones who know about the horn. So yeah, like maybe it's, hey, we're gonna cause a distraction. You're gonna get in, right? I do think, to your point, like originally I was like, Maureen's not gonna apologize, but I think it's gonna be a payoff where she's gonna tell Lan, we were never equals. You were always better than me.
Yeah, there's going to be that scene of them. There's that emotional looking scene that happens with them on the beach. I think that's
and then the water fight that is going to happen. Remember?
Yeah, the water fight. Don't forget about that.
The water fight. What was I going to say was my prediction?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, that was my prediction that Perrin kills Jeffrey Bornhold.
Oh, okay.
But there's literally nothing on the show that would ever make anybody think that.
No,
so
there's no indication that that's going to happen.
Well, I think Hopper is going to die here, and I think Hopper's going to get killed.
Hopper gets yeeted off the top of the wall.
And then that's what's gonna, like, Perrin's gonna wolf out in this battle. Yeah, I mean, he's been best boy. And Rafe made reference to something like Hopper's gonna do something really cool in episode, some really, really powerful.
Oh yeah, he did.
A good animal actor in episode 8 is gonna have. So yeah,
I want to.
So I think.
I'm sorry. I just like to go back to this episode. I just wanted to say,
why? Because it's midnight. No.
It's not. It's almost.
It's a good one.
I did have a note, right, Tom? You've been talking about this like it was one of your pet peeves, or the biggest things you didn't like about this episode, and I thought it was fucking bizarre. I wrote what the fuck happened in this episode at the end when they all go. I wrote they all go with Lanfear. What the fuck is happening in this episode? That was my note when I was watching it.
Like,
there's no option for her to not go. What's the other option?
Yeah, but there is an option to be like, I guess we gotta go. Like, there's just like, okay, let's just chill. Like,
no, it's just
Lan doesn't even like blink. He just like, yeah, all right. It didn't come off like it didn't come off to me like there's no other option. We must do this terrible thing. It came up with like, I guess we're working with Lanfear now. That's how it came off to me. It didn't sit right with me. And maybe that gets addressed early on in episode 8.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't think that there was. I don't know. I don't think there's any option for her to not go. It's just like, okay, we're all going, and what am I like? It's kind of like she's like catatonic from what just happened with Swan anyway,
It's
and very like, and just like she's just like in her feelings, and she's just like, okay, I get, whatever, we're going.
it's like
with Lanfear, okay,
it's like they
whatever.
it's like they
that's what I
literally
feel like she was like.
painted themselves into a corner where it's like, oh wait, like they're writing the script and it gets to the end and they're like, okay, Moraine's gonna go in the. They're like, oh wait, Lanfear's there. What are we gonna do with her? Oh shit, we forgot about Lanfear.
No.
All right, let's just have her open the way gate.
Let's just see what happens.
I just on that. I think I should say it before, but I love the fact that Moraine's like, I am going to open this way gate, and it's really, and it takes this whole thing, and Lanfear's like, boop, it's open. It's like it's like the doors in the Starship Enterprise. He just walks over and opens up. Like, there's so much of a skill level difference.
Lanfear's like, I can't. Why doesn't Lanfear just like open up a travel? What do they call it?
A gateway?
A gateway. Because we're not there yet.
Yeah, I think that's why.
Like it takes 2 seconds to get to prom.
She clearly does. Somebody clearly does earlier in this episode, but you don't see it.
Oh, right. Amisa chat says maybe Moraine could learn the weave, and she doesn't want Moraine to know about that yet.
No, why didn't
That's
she?
a good point.
No, why didn't she just open up a gateway to get Rand when Rand says, "I need your help"? Why does she?
Right, because she wanted to blow up the way she. But that's what I'm saying. Either she really wanted to, or it was all an intricate plan with Perrin.
Right. I do think that this from a dark friendly point of view, this implants Perrin as a person of trust with good guys, which is good for the bad guys.
Yeah.
Like they're like, she's on our team.
I think they just
like
really
in Perrin, she'd be like, yeah, all right, I'll get him out. Like she wants to get him out anyway. So
I'm pretty
she's
sure
playing, both sides.
I'm pretty sure Rafe just wanted to have Lanfear blow a bunch of shit up.
Well, yeah, that too, but make it work for the story. Yeah, she could just gateway in and get him, but like, how? It's not fun.
Yeah, it's
right.
It would have been.
It's a TV show.
Also, like,
make something happen. Like,
yeah. But it's also like I think the show is shown just like when Lanfear has finally revealed herself as Lanfear for the first time. She really enjoys.
Yes,
like making people die. Like it's a cool, fun thing for her.
Yeah,
so I think this is like
she's been playing the innkeeper and being like super nice. Like, all these mugs.
It's so great how like you said, they activated Lanfear and to kill a bunch of people to so they could get free.
Yeah, I just don't know what he thought she was gonna do.
I think he thought do that. Book Rand would.
He wouldn't. No, he wouldn't.
Not
but I don't know what he
thought.
Not
at this point in the story.
She was gonna
later on. He's like, yeah, well, they have to die.
Yeah.
I think if he thought about it at all, he'd be like, well, I think she's gonna come in here and screw shit up, whatever. But I think like she's like, well, fuck these people in the foregate. I've had to like be around their stink for 5 months. I'm gonna kill all.
That would have been great if she started yelling about them like that. That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just one last thing. Is this the end of Moraine and Swan? Like as a relationship?
Well, Brendan thinks Swan is gonna die in the next episode.
He's so close to exactly right. Like he's very close to exactly right. Like he's like, she's surrounded by enemies. She doesn't even know that all these people are enemies. He just thinks it's gonna end in murder.
But why? Now that like Swan wanted to do what she was supposed to do, it doesn't really give. Like, why are they going to overthrow her now?
Well, I think
she's she's like Elayne now.
Well, I think from like now I can understand why a regular non-evil, non-dark friend Aes Sedai would be like, she can't be Amyrlin anymore. She let the Dragon Reborn go. She was tricked.
They don't know that. None of them know that though. That he's the Dragon Reborn and he was there, except for
Elayne knows.
She's not going to say anything.
She's not going to say anything.
Yeah,
but Alana knows.
Alana's not going to say anything either. She's not going to go tell those other Aes Sedai, "Hey, he's the Dragon Reborn."
Well, she's not going to say like they let him go because then she's going to be like, "Well, how do you know?"
Because I helped.
Whatever.
Right. They're not going to say anything, and those other Aes Sedai don't know anything. Like,
Yes, I
I'm
guess.
gonna-
I guess you could go with that.
That
But I do think,
servant in the hallway sure knows.
Yeah, oh, I'm
Yeah,
sure
like-
there's
like,
gonna be some
I mean,
sort of
it could
eyes
get
and ears
out.
saying
Yeah.
stuff, and there's people you're gonna
Right.
find out like on
Oh,
other Aes Sedai talking.
Yeah,
about,
Leandra-
like, I heard.
Yeah,
The
and
people- yeah.
Leandra knows.
Right,
He's
but, like-
saying in chat.
yeah, and like this is like, there's only so much you can cover up. This is a colossal fuck up, and like when it's revealed, she had the Dragon Reborn, she was working with Moraine, and then Moraine tricked her and escaped with him. Like,
Does Leandrin know that Rand is the Dragon Reborn? Is it ever established
Yes.
that she knows that?
She's a dark friend.
So it doesn't mean she
one
knows.
Aes
They
Sedai,
know.
one Aes Sedai knows Rand al'Thor is the Dragon Reborn. We don't know which one it is.
Well, we know Varen figured out he was the Dragon
Right,
Reborn, but
right,
is that
that's
because
true.
she was at the Dark Friend social?
We don't know who it was.
I think Leandra knows.
Like, it's very heavily implied that Leandrin's the person that was at the Dark Friend social, but it's not said.
But
Okay.
now next season we could get another Aes Sedai another Forsaken that's manipulating the tower now, and they're like, oh, we want to get somebody else in here.
that
and
was going to be my
let's
prediction.
start this going, Leandrin, of like getting her out.
My
You know,
prediction.
whatever.
I was going to make a prediction for the next episode that another
Oh.
Forsaken at the end, at least one more Forsaken is released. Like that's how it ends. With like
Yeah.
another,
Also,
like Lanfear freeing Asmodean or something.
What's like Joya? Isn't that her name? She's
Yeah.
she's a dark friend in the book, so
She's black,
she
yeah.
was
so, yeah.
there.
Yeah,
She was,
She doesn't
you
know
know.
he's
Looking shady.
But how do you know that all the dark friends don't know?
We don't know that they do know, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that
I
they
know,
don't.
but
I'm
in
saying
my head they all know.
we didn't get like the dark friend activation from the Forsaken that like these are the this is the
We
Dragon
Yeah, these are the
Reborn.
boys.
We didn't get
I
that
don't
at
know.
all. So I mean, people can assume it, but like I said, we don't know for sure. That's all I'm saying. Like it's never said in the show. Like Leandrin never mentions that Rand's the Dragon
But
Reborn. Nobody ever tells her.
Leandrin was reading the letters. Like it
But-
might not have said.
The letters
Well,
just said Rand died. Their friend died. The letters are all about Rand being dead. And none of them they never
Yeah,
mention
but-
anything
I would
about
say
the Dragon
I don't know,
Reborn.
I don't know.
It's not
I
clear.
just
It's not
feel like,
clear
yeah.
that I agree with you. It's
I don't
not
know.
clear right now that Leandrin knows.
Yeah.
But it's not like if season 3 starts off with Leandrin saying, no one's gonna go like, how'd she figure it out?
No. I agree.
Right? Like, it's established that she could know.
Yes. Oh yeah, 100%.
Right.
We don't know yet because they haven't addressed it in the show. That's all I'm saying. Do I have anything else here?
I don't know, man.
Do you think Ishamael was doing a lot of Moradin type speak, right, breaking the wheel, and I just
Mhm.
wanted to die, right? He was still getting into a little bit of his Moradin character. Do you think that he's gonna die and come back as Moradin?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you think he's
like
gonna
this
die at
actor.
all?
I kind of hope he doesn't.
I think he's gonna die. I think that I said this at the beginning before the season came out, that they were going to give Ishamael a lot more stuff to do than he necessarily does in these books, because there's only one more season for him to be important. And I think that he's got to die at the end of this. And then like they think it's a big victory. I think Jen's right, and then other Forsaken come out. Like,
Is he gonna come back though?
um,
Well, he has to come back, I guess.
He has to.
He does.
He's kind of important to the plot line. You know, the whole end.
although I can see the show just going, well, Rand just dies at the end.
They'll just put Egwene instead of Nynaeve at the end with him, and yeah, that's what I was curious. Like, I don't know if he's gonna die and come back. He'll come if he comes back. I'm sure it's gonna be Faris again playing him.
Yeah, it's not
I thought
important
maybe they were
that
just setting that up that it's gonna stay. Like, yeah, I made them similar. Like, they're not two distinct kind of people because we're gonna use the same actor when he comes back, and it's just a continuation, I guess. But I mean, you don't get that. Like, the whole thing with Moradin is like Ishamael dies and he's kind of happy he's dead, and then the Dark Lord brings him back and he's fucking pissed about it. So we've already gotten into that already when it didn't even happen. I mean, it obviously did happen like thousands and thousands and thousands of times, but I don't know. Just a thought. Shout out to Jolien. Pour a little bit of thimble of water out for Jolien, the maiden from the Dragon Reborn, who dies on the rescue while they
That's
rescue.
not the name of her, though, is it?
Yeah, it's
Are you
Jolien.
sure?
Yeah, pretty sure it's the same exact name.
Who's the one that's name starts with a D or something? Is there still a maiden there?
Yeah, there is. Dorinda?
Doesn't Nynaeve heal her and then she dies later?
Yes, yeah. Right, isn't this is the same?
Jolien dies in Fires of Heaven.
Thank you.
Oh,
She dies when the tower breaks and like they all fall over. When Samuel attacks the tower with the looking glasses in it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, companion.
So
I
this
can't think
wasn't.
of what this
So
girl's
it was
name
with a
is.
D. Then you're right. It was a different one. Okay. Oh,
I don't know.
It's something like, yeah, she's by the river. Nynaeve heals her, and then she dies in the Murdral fight.
yeah. Okay. I was wrong then.
All right.
But it was one who died. So there we go.
Yeah.
Got that part right. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be doing that. Like, hey, if someone dies and doesn't have a particularly meaningful thing that they do, like we're just used them to die somewhere else instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what was I going to say?
You were going to say, I think it's time to wrap it up.
It really is.
We've been talking for 2.5 hours about this
God.
episode. Can't wait next week. Feeling we're going to be talking about it for a long time too. Although I feel like it's going to be a lot of action stuff. So it'll just be like, oh, that was cool that happened. And remember when he stabbed him? It'll be like Chris Farley.
Oh man, it's cool.
It'll be like Chris Farley is remember that time and when she did a flying punch. Yeah, that was cool.
I got the name Dae'lin.
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 Dae'lin. Thank you, Jen.
Right.
Jen, do we have any new patrons to thank?
We do, actually. We have joining the Illuminators Guild, which I believe because she's using pounds, but Molly McIntosh.
Oh,
So thank you very
Molly.
much for joining our Patreon, and for all of our patrons, we love you. Thank you so much for your continued support.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I want to remind everyone to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Join us over in Discord to continue the conversation there. We also post our episodes on YouTube, so go check out our YouTube page to like and subscribe. Rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts, and check out our merchandise and Patreon pages to support us that way. Buy a shirt, buy a mug, buy a shot glass, buy whatever you want. There are no links. I keep slipping on that one. Yeah, last thoughts. I mean, we got one more episode to go. And then we wait another 2 years for the next season. So
No, shut up.
we'll see
They're
in
almost
2025.
they're almost done with principal
Almost
photography.
done.
It was just said on social media that they're almost done
It could be
filming.
out in a year.
So it'll be a year.
We've got some stuff to talk about after the show's over, though, right? We could dig into the Rafe's Q&A.
I think we should have our spouses on again because Dan wants to come back.
Yeah, we'll do that. we'll do a hot wash episode with Brendan after the season's over, just to kind
A
of go
hot
through.
wash episode? What is
yeah,
that?
hot
Yeah,
wash.
it's like a
hot wash.
after something's completely done, you go over everything that happened, what went right, what went wrong, and what
Oh.
you can learn from it.
Okay.
It's like a businessy thing.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we should do like a SWAT for this.
You should do a SWAT. Yes.
Yeah, we'll make it really professional. I'll bring a PowerPoint and everything. All right. Looking forward to the final episode of the season next week. I don't know what else to say about it. I don't think it's going to be as bonkers and mind-blowing as this episode was. This is the most mind-blowing episode
I don't know.
of the show so far.
So far, I mean, for people who only listen to the first part of this show, a bunch of ghosts are gonna come and fight at the end of this episode.
But
probably
it won't blow my mind because that's supposed to happen.
Right.
That's what I'm
It'll
saying.
blow other people's minds. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, blowing my mind. This episode, out of all the episodes so far in the entire show, this is the episode that blew my mind the most, and I was like, what the hell? Not necessarily in a bad way though. So thanks everyone for listening, and you'll hear us next time.